Business Administration, Utkal University. Here I would like to convey my heartfelt gratitude to the entire audience for accepting the invitation and gracing the occasion with your august presence. It is an opportune moment for all of us to be able to attend this webinar amidst the difficult pandemic times. An ode to the Department of Business Administration for taking the pains for arranging the same. This webinar, titled Demystifying Data Multivariate Analysis with SPSS, is a topic of high research interest and the talk of the day. The schedules has been designed to feed the audience with the basic structures of research design and providing an entry point into data analysis. As our chief guest, we have Dr. Sabita Acharya ma'am, the Vice-Chancellor of Utkal University, present with us. First of all, I would like to heartily thank ma'am for being able to spare some valuable moments amongst your busy schedule. Thank you, ma'am, for that. As our guest of honor, we had Dr. Basan Kumar Malik, Chairman, PG Council. Unfortunately, sir would not be able to join us today as his health condition is not good. First of all, let me brief about the Utkal University because basically we are from a family that belongs to the heart of Odisha. It is the oldest university of Odisha and the 17th oldest university in India, situated in the heart of Bhubaneswar. It is a teaching cum affiliating university. The campus at Vani Vihar is spread across a sprawling 400 acres and more. It carries the motto of Satyam Parama Dhimahi, seeking the highest form of truth. Established on 27 November 1943, some 78 years back, the university has a jurisdiction of a number of districts. The foundation stone of the present campus was laid by Dr. Rajendra Prasad, the first president of India, on 1st January 1958. And the campus was inaugurated by Dr. Sarvapalli Radhakrishnan, the second president of India, on 2nd January 1963. The university caters to the academic, non-academic, as well as the co-curricular needs of all the students, faculties, and the facilities. Alongside, it won't be less if I don't mention the Department of Business Administration, the department which is today inaugurating the webinar. The department was set up in 1984 with an objective of grooming the students for the top-notch managerial positions. It has in its ambit regular MBA, executive MBA, integrated MBA, and MBA agribusiness. And latestly, Ph.D. in business administration was started in 1992 to cater to the research needs, to quench the thirst of research in the field of management and business administration, with a vision of providing quality education and empowering the students with knowledge, excellence, and excitement, as well as experience. It has been the icon of empathy, professional ethics, team spirit, and to build, to nurture, to provide, to promote, and to enable the family so that we can move for the better. We can go for the better. This is the sole vision with which the department works. As our guests of the day, as I mentioned, we have the chief guest, Dr. Sabita Acharya ma'am, and Basan sir, who unfortunately will not be able to join us. And as the resource persons, we have Dr. Siba Kumara Udgata sir and Dr. Manoj Kumar Das sir. From the first of the addressers, I would like to call upon Dr. Dasarathi Sahu sir, who is the head of the department, as well as reader in business in the Department of Business Administration. Dr. Sahu sir has more than 20 years of teaching experience in MBA, IMBA, IMCA, and Executive MBA. He has published over 25 research articles in various international and national journals of repute. He has delivered more than 35 lectures as resource person in various academic institutions. He has participated and organized seminars, conferences, FDPs, these are faculty development programs, workshops, and many more. He is the joint managing editor of Sankalpa, International Journal for Managing Decisions, and life member of Divine Life Society and All Odisha Commerce Association. He was also awarded the Eminent Speaker Award, Arabdha 2019 by INMT Bhubaneswar. So I would like to invite Sir first to address the audience. Sir, please.
Thank you very much, Shatarupa, and for dedicating to the Lord. Om Shri Guru Brahma Guru Vishnu Guru Deva Maheshwara Guru Sakshat Param Brahman Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Ajnanatigrandasya Jnanandana Salakaya Chakshyurmilitam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Om Datatanda Mahakaya Suryakoti Samaprabha Nirvignam Kurme Deva Sarvakaryesu Sarvada. Very good morning to one and all present in this webinar on demystifying data through multivariate analysis using statistical package in social science, organized by Department of Business Administration, Utkal University. At the outset, I welcome all of you to this particular webinar. Our today's chief guest, the first woman Vice-Chancellor of Utkal University, Dr. Sabita Acharya, chief guest of this occasion, and in the absence, the guest of honor, Dr. Kumar Malik, Chairman PG Council, Utkal University. Our esteemed resource person, Dr. Siba Udgata from Hyderabad Central University. Esteemed Dr. Manoj Das, ABV-IIITM, IIITM, Gwalior, as the resource person. You all will be happy to know that today's participants are across our country. Just I want to name a few, that is professors and research scholars from IIT Kharagpur, Banaras Hindu University, Jawaharlal Nehru University, NIT Rourkela, University of Allahabad, Acharya University, Redensa University, Barampur University, Phi University, Soa University, Centurion University, Fatimon University, GIT Gunapur, and many more. And today we have from the chat box also I could manage to know that our esteemed Dr. Sanjay Pandakar with us, Dr. Sabar Digal, and many eminent academicians and researchers are with us. And to tell something about my department, the Department of Business Administration came into existence in 1984 and offers 2 years Masters of Business Administration and two years Executive MBA program, 5 years Integrated MBA program, and 2 years MBA in Agribusiness and Research in Business Administration, leading.
Sir, could you please unmute?
Sure.
Yes, sir, it was muted.
Mute.
And today we have, okay, just I will repeat that. A small journey we started just a few weeks back to organize a webinar on demystifying data multivariate analysis using SPSS with the help of our university administration and our department faculty members. And today we have our esteemed senior most professor, Dr. Bidhu, Dr. Muna Kalyani, our associate professor, Dr. Sahu, our associate professor, and Dr. Sahu, madam, Dr. Pallavi Mishra Madam, all they have taken keen interest to have this particular webinar. On this occasion, I, Dr. Sahu, Department of Business Administration, feel honored to welcome all of you to this particular webinar in virtual mode. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. Here I would like to point out one thing, that sir is a very religious person and has been a very strong backup for the department. Thank you, sir, for your very kind words. Next, I would like to invite Dr. Bidhu Mishra, sir, who has been the backbone of the department, extending his untiring support to every event and part. He has more than 33 years of teaching experience. He has visited countries and assimilated awards from all over, out of which POSCO Asia Fellowship Award, Commonwealth Academic Fellowship, NRTS and National Scholarship Awards. He has a rich consulting experience and a teaching experience. He has attended more than 150 seminars, webinars, conferences, workshops, FGPs. He has authored more than 100 research papers and is still going strong. Sir, please.
Thank you, Shatarupa, for the nice introduction. Good morning and namaskar. I am Bidhu Mishra. First of all, I welcome all the participants, resource persons, my Vice-Chancellor and other faculty colleagues to this webinar. Our Vice-Chancellor, Madam Acharya, she is the backbone, she is the patron, and she is the source of blessings for this kind of webinars in the university. Without her support, perhaps this webinar is not possible. So, Madam, your auspicious presence helps us and motivates us in bringing out more such seminars in future. Welcome you, ma'am, to the August gathering. So, in the outset, I must give few words of why this seminar and how is it going to help the participants in future. Most of the participants, what I learn, are either research scholars or young faculty colleagues from different universities who are interested in conducting research either for their PhD degree or for strengthening their knowledge base. And what really this research is, this research obviously helps them in two ways. One is creating new knowledge, and second is disseminating such knowledge in a platform like this. This endeavor of the department obviously helps in bringing so many research scholars, resource persons, and faculty members together to share their thoughts and also to learn some new techniques by using the most popular software called SPSS. Why SPSS? There are several other such statistical softwares available which are used in different contexts. But what we understand, SPSS is more user-friendly and menu-driven, which precisely helps the young research scholars, maybe the new research scholars, in using them at ease. So because of its convenience and because of its user-friendliness, naturally, this is well appreciated by Indian universities. Why the topic? Because data and analysis of data, these are two major issues for the young researchers, because they are not sure what are the sources from which the data are to be collected and how to gather the data and how to measure the data and how to put them in a data sheet for further analysis and interpretation. Perhaps this workshop will facilitate and also give something like a ready reckoner to those young fellows who are scared of data, because data is nothing but, it may be facts, figures, information, anything like that. But how to put them in the right context, that is the issue. And when they are in a particular context, how they are to be interpreted so that some conclusion can be drawn out of that, because that is the crux of data analysis. Here, the sessions are arranged in such a manner. Professor Udgata will definitely help us in bringing out or giving some exposure to the field of research, basically bringing the students to that field. And then Professor Manoj, he will help the students in using SPSS for their data analysis purpose. These are the two important resource persons drawn from two different parts of the country and who has agreed to help us in both the 2 days workshop. I must thank you, Professor Udgata and Professor Das, for your cooperation and support. And second part, I shall also request my fellow participants, whom already that notes have been circulated, them should go through that notes and precisely they should bring out their issues and put them in the chat box as questions or comments or something like the supplements, and those will be immediately addressed. So because of paucity of time, we may not be in a position to give more time to each one of you, but definitely we'll take up all your questions and queries put in the chat box. Thank you everybody. And again, I welcome all of you to this particular webinar. Thank you. Over to Shatarupa.
Thank you so much, sir, for briefing us about the intricacies of data. I'm sure this session is going to be an enriching and empowering one for all of us. Next, I would like to invite our chief guest, Dr. Sabita Acharya ma'am, who is the VC, the Vice-Chancellor of Utkal University. She has been the chairperson of PG Council and previously the director of College Development Council and the School of Women's Studies. She has been the HOD and the coordinator of anthropology and the chairman of the Board of Studies of Anthropology, Women's Studies, and much more. I welcome you, ma'am, to give your address. Thank you.
Thank you, Abha. Good morning to everybody. Distinguished invited speakers, Dr. Siba Kumar Udgata, Professor of Central University of Hyderabad, Dr. Manoj Kumar Das, Associate Professor of IIITM Gwalior, Professor Bidhu Mishra, Professor in the Department of Business Administration, Dr. Dasarathi Sahu, Head of the Department of Business Administration, and all faculty members of MBA and other departments of Utkal University and all other universities across India, across Odisha, and across Bhubaneswar. A hearty welcome to all of you. I congratulate the coordinator and the organizer of this webinar, that is on Demystifying Data, Multivariate Analysis using SPSS. That is a very powerful and useful topic for the research scholars, the budding research scholars of society. In this type of seminars, we have to teach the research scholars and the students how to conduct research by using these multivariate analysis methods and techniques. Basically, I am a social anthropologist. Being a social scientist, we know many methods and methodology techniques of research. So I can say the basic thing is research. Research means what? To search over and over, again and again, means to examine closely and completely and carefully the problems under study. And we know the purpose, why we are doing research. The purpose of research can be categorized into 5. First, for the fact finding through description. The second one, exploration, looking for the pattern, how will you frame our research. The third one, analysis, by explaining why and how it happened. Fourth one is prediction, by forecasting the likelihood of particular events. And the last, that is problem solving, that means for improvement of current practice. How will you improve and how will you give new insights to the future researcher? Basically, we know we are using both the word method, methodology. Method means what? The range of techniques available. Methodology means methodology concerns the research strategy as a whole. How will you opt the right kind of strategy to do your research? And we know research methods are categorized as qualitative research and quantitative research. Both are required for the research. Qualitative research always it investigates subjective data relating to perception of the people involved. Quantitative research, which you are having this seminar, that is quantitative research investigates data what can be measured through analysis, through numerical data and statistics. And one has to distinguish between methods and methodology. We know we cannot ignore theory. So theory and methodology both are mutually interrelated. So theory is the total ornamental arrangement of the body. Methodology is the bony framework of the body. In any theory, we find methodology which supports the body of the theory. So methodology is the logic of scientific procedure. Everything we are doing having some scientific base of our research. So to get into this scientific base, being an anthropologist, we used to do fieldwork, and where empiricism, that is the backbone of anthropological fieldwork. Empiricism means it relies on observation and experience of greater knowledge. In general, you can say empiricist is described as one who looks first, thinks afterwards, as opposed to rationalist who thinks first, looks afterward. Most inventions emerge from empiric. Empiric means observational, empiric thinking, whereas most discoveries result from the analytic and rationalistic thinking. So one has to study carefully what are the things I am going to do, what is the nature of the problem, how can I get the first-hand information by keeping my eyes and ears open. So I am hopeful that the students of different departments, they will be benefited out of this seminar discussion. They can enhance their analysis skills. A researcher always, he needs to understand the statistical tools, which is under quantitative methodology. So the statistical tools, in order to analyze the data for correct information, which is very essential for him to understand. And wish you all the best for the success of this seminar. And I convey again my thanks to the organizers for giving me this opportunity to participate in this inaugural session and to speak few words about research methodology. And I convey my special thanks to the resource persons who have given their valuable time over here to speak something valuable to all the students participating in this virtual seminar. Thank you everybody again. Jai Jagannath. Namaskar.
Thank you, madam. Thank you very much.
Namaskar.
Thank you, madam, and Jai Jagannath. Thank you, ma'am, so much for giving us your words, knowledge, and experience, which is going to guide us forever for all times to come. And you are truly an inspiration that sky is the limit, or sky is not the limit, whatever we choose to have. Thank you, ma'am, so much. Next, I would like to call upon Dr. Satyasarup Debashish, sir, for inaugurating the technical session. He is an associate professor of finance in the Department of Business Administration and has more of 18 years of experience in teaching and research. He has published many articles of national and international repute. I welcome you, sir, to give your address. Thank you.
Okay, I think the register is not available. Okay, on behalf of the register, I will.
Okay, okay, sir. Okay, sir. Okay. So.
Thank you once again.
Okay, sir. Thank you. Satyasarup sir is not there. I think it is a network issue. So in the first technical session, I would like to invite Dr. Siba Kumar Udgata sir, who is the professor of the School of Computer Science and Information in the University of Hyderabad. He is an eminent academician for the last 3 decades and holds a Ph.D. in the area of mobile computing and wireless communication. He is a United Nations Fellow and has worked in UNU and IIST Macau. He has been working on different government-funded projects and has a rich experience of many years. I would like to invite Sir to start the technical session. Thank you, sir. Sir, please unmute.
Okay. Thank you, madam. Thank you for the introduction and good morning, everybody. I must thank Dr. Dasarathi Sahu, the head of the Department of Business Administration, Utkal University, the other colleagues of Department of Business Administration at Utkal University, the Utkal University administration at large for inviting us to share our thoughts with this gathering. And Utkal University is the heart and soul of Utkal, that is Odisha. And we all are, although we are away from Odisha and all that, we all are quite attached to that university. And I have been there on so many occasions actually for different aspects, for giving webinars, for selection boards, for so many things. And I think Madam Vice-Chancellor made my job a little easier because she, in a very simple and straightforward way, described what is research, what is methodology, what is method, and maybe some of my slides are based on that also. So, I think I can share the slides, right? I have yeah, okay, good.
Yes, sir.
So, friends, this talk give me around 45 minutes to 1 hour time, and mostly this is not about multivariate analysis. I think Dr. Manoj will handle that. I will be mostly focusing on the research design part actually, right? The research design, the research process, what is all research is all about. And then, research is such that you can't be doing it just sitting in the armchair, right? You have to burn your fingers, you have to soil your hands, and then only you learn it actually. So you learn by doing. Research has to be learned, research has to be done, research has to be carried out. Research just cannot be done sitting in the armchair or sitting in the just in front of the TV or the computer, right? You have to put your heart and soul into that. So this talk, more or less for around 45 minutes to 50 minutes, will be mostly covering on those aspects of research design, basically the design of the research, that how do we plan our research, what we should do in the research, and what we should avoid in the research part of it. So and as I tell you, I mean, it consists of some of our experiences, like when we do it in the last couple of decades, what is that we learned, what mistakes we did, and what mistakes the new generation should not be doing. We also have, picked up, I have listened to many great scholars in this world, and I have picked up some of their observations about research also, and wherever possible, I have also acknowledged them. And this is also about, I must say that actually, because although it is not very formal, your supervisor also matters a lot, right? And research is also a personal choice, like how you do it. For example, I would like to work late night, but somebody may not work, somebody work early morning, right? So I cannot say that there is it's not a mathematical formula, right? A plus B whole square kind of a thing. It's a personal choice. It's a personal race. So you have to run your race. You are not competing with anybody else. You have a problem, you have to solve it. And you have to solve it in your own way. And looking at how people have solved it, or learning from others that how they have done it in before, and how we can do it slightly different way, slightly better way. So let me share the slides basically. Madam, these slides are visible?
Yes, sir. It's visible.
And I'm able to change it also, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you very much. So this The title of this slide is the research design. It's an important part of the research journey. Like as I understand that many of you are research scholars or maybe young faculty members who have just started their research or just completed their research Ph.D. degree. So I am, as Dasarathi and Madam also introduced, I am Siba Udgata. I work for School of Computer and Information Sciences at University of Hyderabad, which is an institute of eminence. This tag was given by Government of India very recently. So we're expecting a kind of a grant of 1,000 crores in the coming 5 years. And we'll build labs, we'll build research infrastructure, we'll build hospitals, we'll build medical colleges and all these things in this money. And we are looking forward to that. Now, this is, I think, one of my favorite slides actually. So difficult roads often lead to beautiful destinations. Research is a journey. And in this journey, you will find the roads are very difficult actually, at some point of time. You'll find the roads are very difficult, but nevertheless, all these difficult roads often lead to a beautiful destination. And one more thing that I would like to say is that the best is yet to come. In research, nothing is permanent, nothing is the end point actually, right? You always explore the next one. And you always have to accept, it's not a kind of a BSc or MSc or BA or MA course, that whatever is written in the book, that's the final and binding. No, whatever you have to question. You have to question and you have to believe that the best is yet to come. No methodology is the best. No algorithm is the best. No process is the best. So the best is yet to come. With that belief, we continue our research. And when we continue our research, we try to solve a problem or we try to see a better method. It's always a better method. I cannot say that it's the best. So the best is yet to come and it will remain that it is yet to come. Now this is again, I say that in research, it's always good. So to source, to cite, to acknowledge from where you got it. So if you look at the bottom part of the slides, this is Google Images actually. I borrowed it from the Google Images site. Okay. Now, what is research? I'll just quickly go through these things actually, and I will share this material and all that so that this will help you when you continue your research. So one is that it has to be systematic. So every research process has to be systematic. We cannot be doing it randomly. We cannot be doing it bits and pieces. There is a process behind it. And I need to understand what is the process, how should I do it? And the process is a structured process, right? It's not a random process. It's not a stochastic process. So in this case, when you say it, you have to do it systematically. First you do this, then you do this, then you do this, then you do this. It's like conducting a chemistry experiment or a life science experiment or writing a computer program or doing a data analysis survey. So it has to be a systematic, planned manner actually. It cannot be random, it cannot be stochastic. Second, it has to be logical, right? It has to be logical in the sense that it should not be, you cannot be doing irrational, illogical things actually, right? But whatever you say, whatever you conclude, whatever you understand has to have a logical background to that. So the logical conclusions are based on the induction and deduction. What is induction and what is deduction? So deduction is that you have something and from that knowledge you deduce another new knowledge. That is what is deduction. What is induction? Now in the previous things, like you induce it, right? So for example, how do I say? In mathematics there is an induction logic. Let me skip this one. Basically the induction is you have certain ideas. Let's say it's like this. Ram is married to Sita. Also, Sita is the wife of Ram. So this is an induction logic, right? So this is the induction logic and there is a logic behind it. So unless your proposals, your findings, your process, your methodology is logical, there is no point in that. So research is basically you have to conduct your research in a systematic and logical manner. The third point, I think Madam Vice-Chancellor very rightly said that the empirical research, right? You cannot be doing something which you will not be able to prove, which you will not be able to provide the evidence. So when I say empirical, I say evidence-based. Say many times we have, in fact, these days they are there in the newspaper and other things. We say so many things, but when you say it's a scientific research or it's a scientific outcome, it has to be evidence-based. I must be able to provide evidence for my conclusions. If I'm not able to provide evidence, it's just a fiction. Right? You can think of it. For example, we say that if somebody comes to suppose I'm thinking about somebody and the call comes Then I say that, oh, I was just thinking about you and the call came. What a coincidence, you live for 100 years. There is no evidence for that. There is no empirical research behind that actually. So many things which are there, which we believe to be there, but so far we have not yet proved them in an evidence-based manner. So if I say that this is a research outcome, then I must say that, or I must understand that there is an evidence behind this. So whatever you say, whatever you conclude, whatever you do, there must be an evidence, and that evidence comes from the empirical research. Then reductive. You cannot be doing research which is reductive, means generalized. For example, in computer science, we call it, there is a technique called transfer learning. Now, what is transfer learning? You learn in one domain, and that learning is applicable, or that learning can be transferred to another domain. Just giving you an example, everybody knows that the Mahendra Singh Dhoni, the ex-Indian cricket team captain, was not into cricket. He was a football goalkeeper, right? So he was keeping goals in a football match and other things. And one day the cricket team's wicketkeeper didn't turn out, and the coach asked Mahendra Singh Dhoni to help him and keep the wickets, right? And Mahendra Singh Dhoni kept the wickets on that day. He has no experience about how to keep wickets and all these things, but his knowledge about goalkeeping just transferred that knowledge into wicket keeping, and rest is history. So what we do is, in generalization also, we cannot say that this is applicable only to marketing, this is applicable only to principles of management, this is applicable only to organizational behavior, or this is applicable only to human resource. No. When you do a method, when you develop a method or develop a process, and you can do it for a small problem, but that method has a general implications. So usually the methods that we develop has a general implications, and that is called the reductive research. And finally, replicable. I mean, replicable is the most important thing. And of course, this is the fifth one, but this is the most important thing. I must be able to reproduce the results. Now, when I say I must be able to reproduce the results, that means I'm able to replicate the experiment. It is not a fluke. It is just not by chance. So sometimes what happens is that it is just by chance. You see something by chance, and that cannot be a conclusion that this will happen like this. No. If I can repeat this experiment, if I can replicate this experiment. So in science, we call that you have to repeat this experiment. Suppose today somebody in computer science or chemistry or life sciences is conducting a research, and he found a new compound. Now that has to be replicable, that has to be repeatable. Unless you repeat it, right, there is no point that this is a methodology. So this becomes a method only when the method is applicable in hundreds of thousand cases. That means you will be able to repeat it. So look at the vaccine. So it has to be replicable, right? Millions of doses, billions of doses have to be replicated, and with the same sensitivity, same specificity, same application, it has to be repeatable. So repeatability or replicability is also one part of the research. I mean, major part of the research. So what you have to do, you have to conduct your research in systematic manner. It has to be logical. It cannot be abrupt. There should be evidence, and there should be a generalization. You cannot be doing it only for a particular problem. And most importantly, this should be repeatable, replicable. That means the methodology, you design a common methodology, a general methodology, which will be replicated in many cases. Then, what is research? I think I can still skip this slide, but let me just read it. Research is an art of investigation of new and innovative aspect of any branch of knowledge, not necessarily business administration or computer science or chemistry. It comprises of defining, look these words, defining, you can define a method or define a problem. You can redefine a problem. That problem is already there, but because of the new technology that has come in, because of the new problem that has come in, we have to redefine the problem. And hypothesis, suggesting solution approaches. You have to suggest solution approaches. You have to conduct experiments, collecting and analyzing data, and deducing conclusions. Now, let me read it again. It comprises of defining, redefining problems and hypotheses, suggesting solution approaches, conducting experiments, collecting and analyzing data, and deducing conclusions. Now, look at this. In the bracket, I have written that whether it is new. The conclusions need not be necessarily new. The conclusions can be slightly modified. The conclusions can be slightly modified or slightly improved. Now, what I mean by slightly modified and improved, That means I don't say that the conclusions were wrong. I'm saying that the conclusions were right at that point of time with the information available at that point of time. Now we have a new conclusion because you have new information, you have new technology. So we got some kind of a new conclusions actually. But new may not be completely new, it can be modified. For example, very recently, right, you have seen that the government of India has come out with a guideline that the Covishield vaccine can be given between 12 to 16 weeks. Initially, they said 4 to 6 weeks. Then they say 6 to 8 weeks. Then now they are saying that 12 to 16 weeks. It's not that they are just playing around it. New information is coming. New observations are coming. New experiments were conducted, and based on that, the conclusion that they have done earlier, that 4 to 6 weeks or 6 to 8 weeks or 8 to 12 weeks, is getting revised. So there is nothing wrong in that actually, because the information available at that point of time, the technology available at that point of time, the data available at that point of time led to the conclusion that it should be given between, the second dose should be given between 4 to 6 weeks. Now with the new information, new technology, new experiments, the conclusion is revised. So that's how we say that is what is research. There is no fluke in that. So it is also a search of knowledge through objective and systematic method. That's what I will typically say. So research is defined and described like this. Research is the systematic approach to obtaining and confirming new and important. So it has to be reliable, right? It has to be robust. It has to be reliable. For reliability, it has to be repeatable. It has to be replicable. It has to be based on logic, evidence. So all these things makes it reliable. So, okay. Now look at this. So it's a systematic and orderly. That means you follow a series of steps. It's like an algorithm. You propose a new knowledge. The purpose is to get a new knowledge which must be reliable. So this is a general definition which across all disciplines it is applicable. Now, one more thing I would like to say here. You notice that this part, truth was not used in the definition of research. Nowhere it is written that it is a search for truth. It's very philosophical to search for truth, etc. But if you look at the definitions, if you look at the understanding of research, nowhere it is said that it is truth. It is only said that it is evidence-based. It is knowledge-based. So the concept of truth is outside the productive realm of thinking by the researcher. So I'm not seeking truth. I'm seeking the evidence, I'm seeking the conclusions. And as I told you, there is nothing called absolute truth in research actually. As on today, based on the data, based on the experiments, based on the evidence, I'm saying that this is my conclusion. Tomorrow, the data changes, the experiment changes, the knowledge changes, the technology changes, the conclusion may also change. So I'm not saying that truth is a part of the definition of the research. And please kind of note it that we don't consider truth. It's quite philosophical. Truth, in particular in scientific experiments, etc., truth was not considered in the definition of research. So research is not. This is what I would like to say, because many of you are, budding researchers, new researchers, etc. Research is not accidental discovery, right? People say, of course, even if you go by the story, and that story is wrong actually. Even Newton many a times said that I have not said that. But people believe that Newton discovered gravitational force by looking at the apple falling from the tree. Even if you believe that, this is called accidental discovery, right? Serendipity research or accidental discovery. What is an accidental discovery? The accidental discovery, you just discovered it, but that is not research. But accidental discovery may occur in a structured research process. So when I'm doing research, for example, let's say many of us see so many things in the environment actually, but we don't attach any importance to that, or we don't do research on that. But environmental scientists do research on that. And if they find some interesting observation in the environment, they do research on that and they conclude or they publish good papers on that. Why it is happening? You can say that accidentally they saw that. No. They saw it accidentally. Serendipity research is that they saw it, there is an accident that happened to that discovery, but the accident led to a structured study of that particular phenomena, and that structural study gave you that conclusion. So accidental discovery may occur in the structured research process, but accidental discovery itself is not the research. So for example, usually it takes the form of a phenomenon not previously noticed. For example, suddenly I see that the sky is red. So I have not noticed that before, but today I'm seeing that the sky is red. And then what I do, and nobody else has seen that, in the middle of the night I woke up and saw that the sky is red, and suddenly I started working on it and then got some good conclusions, etc. Now I say that the accident is that I saw that sky is red, But then the research process is that to find out why the sky is red at that point of time. What were the chemical reactions? What were the environmental reactions? What were the physical properties? So if I study all those things, that becomes research. Just saying that today I saw at night 12 o'clock the sky was red is not research. So the serendipity, the extended discovery may lead to a structured research process to verify and understand the observation. That is very important. So if you look at this, all great scientists has some kind of an accident in their labs, in their research labs, etc. But we cannot say that that is the research. The research follows that. That was the first observation, that was the first motivation, and the research followed that. So research is not an accidental discovery. Research is definitely structured, careful, motivational follow-up of a particular phenomenon. So data collection is not research. I think I must tell you that data collection is a part of research, is an integral part of research, is a requirement for research, but it's not research. So you collect the data is not research, but what you do with the data, that's what this particular webinar is meant for. That how do I collect, how do I analyze the data is research, but just collecting the data is not research. So it's an intermediate step to gain reliable knowledge. Collecting reliable data is part of the research process, but it's not research by itself. So research is not searching out published. So you can say that I go to the internet, I go to the library and search what is that. It is again, it's a part of the research, but it's not research design or it's not research by itself. So this is an important early step of research. So literature survey, going to the library, searching out the published research, etc., is an important part of early step of the research, but not research by itself. So the research process always includes synthesis and analysis. So you have to synthesize the data and you have to analyze the data. So if you do that and then you come out with a conclusion, I think one thing I would like to say, maybe in somewhere else also in the slides I have, say you use SPSS, you use MATLAB, you use Scilab, you use so many tools, right? You can use a tool, you throw some data, it will throw a number back at you. But analyzing that number, analyzing that phenomena, analyzing the results lies with you, and that is what is research. Research is not about using the SPSS software or not using the MATLAB software. Research is using the MATLAB software to derive new or improved conclusions by the researcher. That is what is the research. So me as a researcher or you as a researcher can use the data, can use the tool, can use the output, but the analysis of that output, the inference from that output depends on you. And I will tell you also when the time comes, I will tell you a story about that also. Now, but just reviewing literature is not research. Now, research is, I think I can quickly go through this, searching for explanation of events, phenomena, relationship, and causes. That's very important. So, if an event has happened, for example, many years back, there was when digital cameras were not there, camera rolls were there, Kodak company was there, and it was known for the rolls, film rolls, and all that. Many of you might not be knowing even. Now, it happened in such a way that because they didn't go for the digital camera at an early stage, they lost the entire market. The entire company is closed. It was one of the leading company in the whole world, and the entire company is closed. And this is one of the best case studies that is being studied in top B schools. Now, that's an event. Now, what is research? Many people have studied on that. Many people have done research on that. What happened? Why it happened? And so the event has happened and the phenomena has happened. And now people are studying, like you can also study why this has happened, what is the relationship between that, what are the causes, what is your recommendation? That becomes research, right? So it's a process. Now, I think somewhere I have to write this one actually, because these are some of the words I want to highlight actually. It is circular. That means what? You always, when you do one research, I tell you, I think many of my colleagues and there also senior colleagues there also will try to will agree with me that one research leads to another research. Not another research, one research leads to another 10 research in fact. So it is a circular way, right? You try to solve a problem and then you see that there are many small or there are many other problems that is spanning out of it. Now this is the circular issue in the sense that one answer leads to some more questions, and you answer those questions, it leads to some more questions, and that's how the research progresses. So don't worry, research is not going to stop. One research will lead to another research will lead to another set of research. And another thing, I always say that research is like, I tell it to my students here, research is like driving your car or your bike in a very dense foggy road, right? So what is a dense foggy road? It's a fog and you only see 2 meters or 3 meters or 5 meters ahead of you, right? You go to that stop, that place, you see another 5 to 10 meters, right? So research is like that. I'm sitting here today, I'm not able to see the entire path, entire journey, but I have to drive, I have to go through that. Now it's a fog, but I go to another 5 meters, I will see another 5 meters. Then I drive another 10 meters, I see another 10 meters. That is how the research is. And at the end of the tunnel, you'll see a bright light actually. So the whole idea is that research, if you say research, I can see the entire 5 years or 6 years or 10 years ahead of me. I'm not doing research, probably I'm doing some study, some project. I'm not doing research there. Research is basically, you go there and then only you will see what next. Then you go there, then you see what next. That is how we say what is research. Now this is one slide which I already drawn it, but still I will tell you. So the source is Professor Pradeep Majumdar of Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore. I happened to listen to his talk somewhere, and he gave this idea which I very much liked, and I thought I will also share with you. Now, what is research in any domain? You take business administration, you take marketing, you take computer science, you take chemistry, you take physics, whatever. There is an existing knowledge. Right? So you go to the library, you search Google, internet it, and other things. So this is the existing knowledge. Now, when the existing knowledge is there, that whatever knowledge is available as on today, that is the existing knowledge. Now, when I try to do research, I study all this knowledge and try to look at this. Look at this line actually. Look at these lines. I keep working years together. Look at these lines. I keep working years together to make a dent here. That means to extend the knowledge in this part actually. In this part, I will extend the knowledge. And this is what is your contribution. Can you please mute your mic, please? Yeah, thank you. So this is what is your contribution. Your contribution is this dent. This dent is your contribution. So I put my effort here. These are my efforts. These are my efforts. And I keep on putting effort for year, 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, 4 year, 5 year, 10 years, etc. And then I make a small dent here. So this dent is my contribution or your contribution here. Now, similarly, throughout the world, people are trying to make a dent here. They will make a dent here. They will make a dent here. They will make a dent here. And what happens over a period of 5 years of time, you see that the existing knowledge has grown up. The circle has grown up. And then then the new researchers will come and they will make a dent here. They will make a dent here. So this dent will be here. This dent will be here. And slowly this knowledge will go up. And that's how the knowledge grows. That's how the research helps the knowledge grow actually. So what I said that the research, if you take it as a circle as on today, what is available, and then your effort will make a small dent, maybe a small dot somewhere, but that's your contribution to that entire knowledge base. And then hundreds, thousands like you are trying to make a dent, and all this dent will make this circle slightly bigger. And then the research grows, the knowledge grows, and that's how today we are achieving we are enjoying the fruits of the research of last 100 years, 200 years, or 300 years. Now, this is one slide. I think Madam also said that, but I will put it in my way. I think in Buddha, Lord Buddha, he's preaching. Lord Buddha's preaching is based on these 4 important things. Dukkha means suffering, samudaya, nirodh, and marg. Now, what is the research process corresponding to that is this. Dukkha means, if somebody is suffering, you should empathize with it. Unless your heart empathizes with the suffering, with the problem, with the pain. Dukkha means pain, the suffering. So there is a pain point. A business house is suffering loss. That's the pain. The workers are not happy. That's a pain. So what the HR manager will do to support the workers actually, or to make them happy. So the workers are not happy. The business is suffering loss. The market is, I'm not getting the right kind of healthcare. That's a pain point, right? So the researcher must sympathize with the pain points. And once you sympathize with it, once you empathize with it, then what you see that you have to find what is the reason for that. That is the analyze. So the samudaya, that means the second important teaching of Lord Buddha is samudaya. So first is dukkha. There exists a pain point. There exists sorrowness. There exists sadness. There is a problem. And then you try to analyze the problem, why it is so, why people are suffering, why healthcare is not there, why workers are not happy, why there is a loss of the company, why I'm not able to expand my business. So all these things are pain points, and then you try to analyze the reason behind it. To reason behind it is collection of data, analyzing the data, studying the data from the past, analyzing the methodology. So all these things are considered the analyze. Now, Nirodh in the sense that you try to find a solution for that problem. So Nirodh means stopping. Nirodh means stop. So solution. How do I stop this problem? How do I provide a solution to the problem? So that is my methodology. So I provide a solution, I provide a conclusion, I do a study, I take some evidences, and then say that, okay, if you follow these methods, if you do these things, probably the pain will be solved. That's what the doctor does. That's what the many business houses do. And then the mark means the path, the test and use. So once you know that you empathize with the pain, you empathize with the dukkha, and then you analyze the pain points, then you provided a solution, and then you provide evidence, etc. Then this system, this model, this methodology will be tested by different business houses, different companies, different scientific experiments, and then it will be put to use. And once it is put to use, then this problem, for example, you are doing with some Odisha State Financial Corporation. If you say Odisha State Financial Corporation is a body which provides financing for small to medium scale enterprises, etc., then you provide, and they are suffering, they are not able to find out how to do it, etc. You provide them a solution, and that will be used by the OSFC, Odisha State Financial Corporation. That means you are showing a path, you are showing a mark. So Buddha teaching has basically these four principles: dukkha, samudaya, nirodha, and marga. The same thing can be mapped onto the research process, where you feel for the pain, you analyze the problem, provide a solution, and then test it exhaustively and put to use. That's what the method of research. Now look at this carefully. I'm going through very quickly now. Yeah. So this is basically the research process. You review the available literature. That's what the first step. That will give you a formulate a question. You formulate a problem. Then select an appropriate research design. That's what we will talk in the next class. Collect the relevant data. Then you find whatever your SPSS tool or your MATLAB tool gives you. You interpret them. Then publish it. This is very important actually. Publishing your research finding. If you have not published, you have not done anything. So you have to publish it anyway. Why publish? Because that will show paths. That's what I'm saying in the mark. So that will show paths to the other researchers, to the other people who are finding this type of problem, so they can read it, they can implement it, they can deploy it, so that they can solve their problem. So you review the available literature. That's where, because somebody else has published it, so you are able to read them. Then you formulate a question, and once you formulate a question, you go for the design of your research problem, collect the relevant data, and do all these things. So the process of research, these are the 5 steps. I think I have already said that. This is another diagram which I picked up from the book Research Methodology by Kothari. So if you look at this, same thing, I'm repeating only because this is how we have to say. So the prior research, need to know from your own experience, and curiosity, right? These are the 3 things. So whatever people have done, what you have your own experience or your supervisor's experience or your departmental committee, you attend various webinars, etc. So you get there some experience, and then your curiosity to know about it. That's very important actually. This is very important. Your curiosity to know about these things, right? What is your curiosity says? You ask, you look around, you have a problem, right? I'll just share some of the, one of my experience actually. I was doing postdoc in Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore. Now, I had many good friends there, and a couple of them are also my colleagues at the University of Hyderabad now. Now, we used to go to, on Saturday evening or something, we'll go, there is a nearby cinema hall, and we used to go to film actually. So we used to take cycle and go there actually. Around 30-40 people will go there, and while coming, we'll see that 4 or 5 of them are missing. Why? When I say that, oh, this Raghu came and why he is not there, they said, yeah, he might have thought something and he must have gone back to the lab to do the research. That means what? While you are looking at this, while you are there in the cinema hall also, the research curiosity, the research problem is still there in the back of his mind actually. He found some clue or some idea, something, left the cinema, left the movie there and went back to the lab. So that kind of curiosity should be there, so that then only you can grow there actually. So that gives you a statement of the problem. And then you have all these things actually. You collect the sample, you do all these things as I told you earlier also. Now this is another model which I again picked up from the Google. So the hourglass model actually. What is an hourglass model of the research design? So first to start with the broad question. What is the broad question? Suppose the broad question is that the healthcare management in India. That's a broad question, right? But you cannot be doing research in the healthcare management of India. You cannot be doing everything. You may be doing a very small part of this. So that's where you say you narrow down. So first, you say that, oh, I feel very bad about the healthcare management in India, etc., but I should be doing something. Now, if you're doing something in the sense that, then you read a lot, refer a lot, slowly narrow down actually. Then focus on one small part of it. For example, you focus on that hospital ventilator management. That's only the small part of it, and you have to completely focus on the operationalization of that. Now, and just managing the ventilators is not healthcare management, complete healthcare management, but you have contributed a small dot. That's what I was saying. If you look at that circle, which I've just discussed 2 slides back, you are trying to make a dent. With a continuous effort, you are making a dent there, and that is your contribution. So you prepared a model so that the ventilators can be managed more efficiently. So that's an operational model. Then you observe it, collect a lot of data about the ventilators, how many ventilators are there, how many people are there, when you need ventilator, what are the things required for the ventilator. So all these observations will give you to the observe and analyze the data. Once you analyze the data, you decide the conclusions. I mean, you do some SPSS tool or MATLAB and other things, give some conclusion. But I repeat, this is most important thing. Then you generalize back to the original question. Then somewhere you have to say in your conclusion that this particular work is able to solve at least 1% or 2% or 3% of the healthcare management problem. And this also can be used in bed management, in MRI scanner management, in whatever. You cannot be saying this is only for the ventilator management. It is for MRI scan management, it is CT scan management. So this method can be with slightly tweaking or slightly changing, can be generalized back to the questions. So this is what is the hourglass model. First you start with a broad question, slowly narrow down, and then again expand. So that's how the hourglass model. Hourglass means in the sense that it's a timing, right? You fill it and then rotate it. It will take some 1 minute or so to do it, again rotate it. So people used to measure time in the history actually. Now let's come to the design of the research part actually. So I think I have another 15 minutes time, right? At least 15 to 20 minutes. Madam? Okay. So let me assume that I have another 15 to 20 minutes time. So the research design is that, so the design research investigate the process of designing in all its fields actually. I'll tell you, I think the better is that we will take examples and see that. So the primary interpretation of design research is that it is concerned with undertaking research into the design process. So you undertake a research, but it is like a design actually, like you design a house, like you design a bed or you design a sofa. This also, the research is also a designing problem actually. You design it what you want to see and then work towards it actually. So secondary interpretation would refer to the undertaking of research within the process of design. The overall intention is to better understand and improve the design process. That's what I'm saying. I think let us see what next. So in this case, if you look at this research design, the families of research design there are 2 types actually. One is called quantitative research design, another is called qualitative research design. And Madam Vice-Chancellor has hinted upon that, what is quantitative research and what is qualitative research. I will also give you some more examples on that. And there is a hybrid of this also, right? A combo of both quantitative and qualitative design. Now look at this. What is quantitative research design? That means you deal with only numbers. 2, 3, 4, 4.5, 3.5, 6.5, etc. Only numbers. You deal with only numbers. So it investigates the why and how of the decision making as compared to what, where, and when of the quantitative research. So we basically, I'll come back to that. So the basic objective here is that the objective of the quantitative research is to develop and employ mathematical models, theories, and hypotheses. So this is very important. Why do I depend on the numbers? Because I depend on the numbers to develop the mathematical models. So when I develop a mathematical models, for example, I think Dr. Manoj will talk more about it. Let's say I have 2 data items or 2 series, X series and Y series. Now I want to find out Y is a function of X. How can I do it unless Y and X are numbers? So Y is a function of X, or Y equal to X square, or Y equal to X to the power Q, or Y equal to AX square plus BX plus C. So some mathematical model I'm trying to fit in to the existing data, or some theories I want to fit into the existing data if the data are in numbers. So the objective of quantitative research is to develop basically mathematical models. Now, I think quickly I can go through this. This is a measurement process, right? You measure it. You measure the rainfall. You measure the wheat, rice yield. You measure the rain. You measure the loss, or Okay, you measure the profit in a company, you measure the tax collected by government of India. So these are all measurement things, and these are all, because they are measurements, they are all quantitative, they are all numbers. And for all empirical research, that means evidence-based research or empirical observations, you require numbers, you require data, you require values, right? Percentage, correlation coefficient, etc., etc. So these empirical observations, you require measurements, and for that you require mathematical models. So quantitative research is widely used in both natural sciences like physics, chemistry, life sciences, etc., social sciences, physics, biology, sociology, journalism, education, everywhere. This is basically, but mostly the social sciences are using qualitative research. But these days also the qualitative research is slowly converted to quantitative research, and they are also using a lot of mathematics for proving their or for providing evidence to that. What is qualitative research? Qualitative research design. You have to deal with the data which are non-numeric, and that's I kind of mark my words, non-numeric. Non-numeric means they are words, characters, alphabets, etc. There can be images, there can be audios, there can be videos. Now let me tell you an example. Now most of this digital marketing, right? So digital marketing is based on Facebook, Twitter, and even in WhatsApp, right? People are doing marketing in WhatsApp, people are using marketing in Facebook, people are using marketing in Twitter. So they have become a platform for marketing, and we call them as a digital marketing. And there we don't use only numbers, we don't use 3, 4, 5, etc. We use images, we use videos, we use audios. People give their feedback, right? These reviews. So reviews have become an important part of your marketing or customer relationship management, right? CRM. So, but based on the reviews, you try to do that. But most of the many reviews, they don't contain numbers. They contain text. They contain images. They even sometimes they load videos of the previous things. So video analysis, image analysis, text processing, audio processing, speech processing, etc. has become part of the research in marketing also. Right? So this is called data is non-numeric. They are not numbers. So when you look at qualitative data, and the qualitative data are mostly text, that is words, images, audios, and videos, etc. That type of research is known as qualitative research. So you have to figure out in your design whether you are looking for qualitative or you are looking for quantitative data. So it involves an in-depth understanding of human behavior and the reasons that govern human behavior. So when I tweet, right? So from my tweet, we should be able to find out what is my emotion, right? What is my mood, whether I'm happy with it, whether I'm not happy with it. But I tell you, these are not easy things. For example, I can give you an example. If I say, let's say the word called fire, F-I-R-E, fire. Now, fire can be used in a positive sense, fire can be used in a negative sense. For example, there was a dance performance in a stage, and somebody has wrote that the performer or the dancer has put the stage on fire. That is a very positive thing, right? Put the stage on fire. He danced so well that he's set the stage on fire. So that's a positive thing. But if an employer says to an employee, you are fired, right? I will fire you. That's not a positive thing. So this type of research, right? This qualitative research in management, in social sciences, in where the human behavior, right? If you're doing HRM, right? You are dealing with a lot of qualitative data, non-numeric data, and that is where your research design should be qualitative. Your methodologies should fix to the qualitative data analysis instead of quantitative data analysis, etc. So that's what I'm saying. There is a need for that. And if you go to the last part of this, the qualitative researchers typically rely on 4 methods. 1, participation in the setting, direct observation, in-depth interviews, analysis of document and materials. So you cannot so direct observation is one of the best thing in qualitative research. People, that's what Madam Vice-Chancellor was mentioning, that they have to do the field work. They have to go to the field, talk to the people, collect the data. They cannot sit in the drawing room or in the lab and do all these things, because that's where you don't know exactly the human behavior there. The qualitative data doesn't come in that way. So in-depth interviews, direct observations, analysis of the documents and materials, videos, images, etc. So all those things will give you a qualitative data. So the bottom line is qualitative research design is slightly difficult than the quantitative research design. Methodology is slightly different than the quantitative research design. So I will come back to this slide again, but let me look at this research design model actually. So the research design model is that one is descriptive, one is correlational, and one is group comparison. I'll talk these things only and then we'll stop. So the descriptive research is basically, again, it is of 2 types: survey-based research observation-based research. Like you only observe, you collect data, you don't do any survey. Survey means you depend on others. Whatever they will give the question, whatever answers they will give, based on that you make a research. What is that? Your own observations. That is what is the descriptive research. What is correlation research? Correlation research, you find out the relationship between two phenomena. Find out the dependency on two phenomena. That is the relationship. Why the stock market price will rise? If the political, the election in different states has an bearing on the stock market, is there a relationship that? So these are all correlations based research actually. And group comparison research is that you compare two groups, right? I mean, I think most of the people say that you take two samples and do some experiment on them, and based on how one sample behaves in comparison to the other, you find out whether the first one is better or the second one is better. For example, to be more specific, suppose you take two group of kids, children, and for one group you give Bonvita and another group you give Horlicks, and then measure according to some performance parameter, and then compare which one group, that means the Bonvita group is better or the Horlicks group is better. So these are type of group comparisons. And the group comparison also has three types of designs called true experiment design, quasi-experimental design, and post-facto design. Now, just look at this, the same thing. I'm making it a more kind of, yeah. So this is the research design. You have analytical research design, which I've already said just now, descriptive research design, and experimental research design. Analytical research design means you have all the data, you have already collected the data, you download the data and analyze them using SPSS, using MATLAB and all these things. So you have all the reviews, you have historical data, you analyze them. As I told you, descriptive research means you do a survey, you do questionnaires, you collect information from your other friends, etc., and then do it, or you observe it. You take a case study, observe it, and try to find it out. Now, there also we have a correlation kind of a thing. We try to find out the relationship between events, actually, between factors, between whatever observations you have. Is there any relationship between them? And experimental research is very important, and particularly in science and other things, experimental research, you have to pre-design it. First, you have to design the experiment. Then you have to, I'll tell you what are they actually. Now, look at this. What is exploratory research? Right? So in your research design, there is a component called exploratory research. It is a type of research conducted because a problem has not been clearly defined. That's very, very important. So this is basically, you know, in any university or even in the funding bodies, UGC, DST, etc., there is a separate funding for exploratory research. What is it? You just explore. Explore in the sense that you don't know exactly what is the problem. You don't know exactly what is going to be the outcome, but you explore the possibilities and try to come out with a recommendation. So that is called the exploratory research, where the problem is not very clearly defined, right? Because you have not seen this type of problem. For example, what is the implication? What will be the implication of online education on the students 10 years down the line, or on the students who have done this online education after 5 years? Now we don't know that. You kind of an exploratory research. You try to explore the possibilities and then find out what is your recommendation. It helps determine the best research design, data collection method, and selection of subjects, but not the conclusions. We don't know. We don't have any hypothesis about that. So given its fundamental nature, it's basically fundamental research. It often concludes that a perceived problem does not actually exist. Sometimes this problem may not exist. You can say that, what if analysis? What if all these people, all these vaccine will not be there? But the vaccine is already there. What if people will not opt for vaccination? So sometimes you foresee, you kind of explore a problem which is not there, but and analyze, do the research. If it happens, what will be your preparedness, right? So, for example, in Bhubaneswar, we never had earthquake, right? Now, suppose tomorrow earthquake will happen. What will be its implication on healthcare management in Bhubaneswar? That problem is not there, but you explore the possibility and do that. Constructive research, this is what is general research actually, and mostly this is very common in computer science, that you construct a problem, you find a solution, you collect the data. That's what is constructive research in general. I don't want to go into that actually. Empirical research, Madam Vice-Chancellor and I said myself also in a couple of more than in previous slides, I've focused on empirical research. Empirical research is evidence-based numerical research, right? It's the research that is based on findings on direct or indirect observation and tests its reality, right? It's a reproducible. So this is what is it. Such research may also be conducted according to the hypothetico-deductive. That means there is a hypothesis and you do it. So this is what R.A. Fisher had said. I'm not saying that. R.I. Fisher has said that this is based on hypothesis. This is different from the descriptive research, different from the explorative research. You have a clear-cut hypothesis, you have a clear-cut deduction methodology, and you have to do that. So the researcher attempts to describe accurately the interaction between the instrument, that means the human, and the entity being observed. Okay, let me tell you, empirical research is basically 99% of the research are empirical research. What we normally do is that you have data, we have an hypothesis, you have to prove either the null hypothesis is correct or the alternate hypothesis is correct, and then with the data, with the methodology, we try to do that. Primary research is basically collecting the primary data. So primary research is that you go to the consumer. Suppose you want to do a consumer behavior data. If you want to do consumer behavior data, you collect the feedback from the consumers directly from the site. Go to the tripadvisor.com, go to the Amazon.com, go to the Flipkart.com, find out the consumer behavior. That's a primary data. The person directly interacted with the system and given you the data. You have to collect that. What is secondary data? Secondary research. Secondary research means the data has already been collected by somebody. They have used it for their own purpose. They have kind of analyzed and summarized the data. Based on that summary, for example, you do research on the budget of union budget, Government of India budget, you do some research on that. Now, budget is based on some primary research that is collected by the different planning officers from the different districts, different villages, different panchayats. But based on the budget, you conduct your own research. That's a secondary research. That's what is basically I'm trying to. So this is primary research. This is secondary research. Secondary research is also known as desk research. What is desk research? The desk research means you just sit on your desk, download everything from the internet, etc., and then start doing your own research. But primary research is, you can't do much actually. Primary research, you have to go collect the data, and all these things have to be done there. Okay. Now, what is descriptive design? The descriptive design is basically the surveys. Survey means questionnaires, right? So you create a questionnaire, and there are methods. I think many of you might be knowing there are methods how to prepare a good questionnaire, etc. Whether it should be 5-point scale, whether it should be a 10-point scale, whether it's a checkbox, whether it is radio buttons, whether it is fill in the blank items, but it should be a kind of a Google form design, right? The way you conduct your survey. So descriptive, that people will describe their experience, people will describe their feelings, people will describe their observations, and then those descriptions you capture it in a survey form or in a questionnaire form, convert it to the data and do the analysis. That is one part of the story. The other part of the story is that you observe it. So instead of administrating a survey instrument, the researchers collect the data by observing, recording the occurrences of incidents in some outcomes. So it is basically the researcher, you and a couple of your friends, or you or your supervisor, or you, your committee members, you observe the scenario. You collect the data, you record the data. But survey is, it's very clear, right? You can understand what is a survey and what is an observation. Analytical research, reviews, then historical research. This is important. The correlation evidence is that when variable X increases, like I've been telling you correlation actually, right? What is the relationship between two events? One is X and another is Y. Let's say rainfall and yield of rice, or rainfall or yield of cotton, or rainfall and stock market prices, whatever it is. There are two variables. Now X increases, Y increases. Now many times what happens? So does X increase Y or does Y increase X? So if you say that there exists a relationship between X and Y, you are not pretty sure whether X is the reason for increase in Y or Y is the reason for increase in X. For example, if I say, you take two variables, any two variables, let's say my blood pressure and my sugar. Now, you say that blood pressure is increasing and sugar is also increasing. Now, whether sugar is the cause of blood pressure or blood pressure is the cause of sugar. So, correlation evidence doesn't give you specifically whether X is responsible for increase in Y or Y is responsible for increase in X. Whether increase in blood pressure is responsible for increase in blood sugar or increase in blood sugar is responsible for increase in blood pressure. So this is we cannot do it actually. So alternatively, or either something else, there is some third parameter. For example, environmental pollution is responsible for both increase in blood pressure as well as the increase in blood sugar. Is it that? So that's what I'm saying. When you do numbers, right? When I play with numbers, I put it in a statistical tool and get the numbers back. I will not be able to, this is what is my problem actually. Suppose I take, as I told you, I take two variables, blood pressure and blood sugar. Whether blood sugar is the reason for increase in blood pressure or blood pressure is the reason for increase in blood sugar, or there is something third party. Because environmental pollution is there, that is why both blood pressure and blood sugar is increasing. We don't know. We cannot find out from the tool itself that whether there is a third factor which is responsible for increase in Y and X. So correlation does not infer the, I don't treat it as causality. This is causality, cause, because, cause. So it is taken from the because. So it's cause, the reason. Whether correlation doesn't infer the reason or reason doesn't infer the correlation. So that is very important in your research design actually. So in experimental research involves a direct assessment of how one variable influences the other one. This allows us the establishment of causality, that means what is the cause and what is the effect. All extraneous variables must be held constant while a single variable is manipulated, effect is measured. Now you look at this definition of variable. What is an independent variable? This variable is called the cause. Independent variable means, say for example, I am independent and I influence the student. So the student's marks are dependent on my teaching. So I am independent, teaching is independent, student's performance is dependent on the teaching. So independent variables, the variable is called the cause. What is the dependent variable? Dependent variable is the effect. So independent variables can be manipulated or allowed to vary. So I can change the independent variable, but I cannot change the dependent variable. Similarly, dependent variable is the effect. Dependent variable should only vary in response to the independent variable. IV stands for the independent variable here. Dependent variable is also known as the criterion variable. So why I'm discussing all these things? Because in your research design, you have to find out what are the dependent variables, what are the independent variables. You keep all the independent variables constant, change the dependent variables and find out its effect on the, change the independent variables and find out its effect on the dependent variables, so on and so forth. So law of this single variable, there will always be an uncontrolled influence. There will be always one variable on which you cannot control. For example, let's say the rainfall. You cannot control it actually. You look at the political, whether the stability of the government, you cannot control it actually. So some variable which is always uncontrollable, and you have to look at the influence of that parameter on the dependent variables. So this goes on actually, right? So if I say, so this is what is the experimental research. So when I conduct experiment, what I do, you know, I mean, some of you who are from the science background will know that the Boyle's law, Charles' law. Keeping temperature constant, pressure is directly proportional, pressure is inversely proportional to the volume. That means if the temperature is constant, if you increase the pressure, the volume will be decreased. But look at this, keeping the temperature constant. Now, how do you do it? You go to the experiment, go to the lab, keep the temperature constant, design an experiment, put the pressure, measure the volume. So that is what is experimental research. You conduct the experiment there. And then how do you conduct the experiment? In the experiment, I control independent variables, I control dependent variables, I control the third parameters, X, Y, Z, I control the third parameters and conduct my research, collect the data, do the analysis, come out with a mathematical model. That's what the Boyle's law, Charles' law did actually. So the experimental design is like this: pre-experimental design, quasi-experimental design, and true experimental design. Now the random experiment of, okay, now you go to this. This is probably my last but one slide or something like that. Okay. So you have an entire population, and you know anybody who is doing research in social sciences or management, etc., there is a population. What is population? For example, what will be the exit poll? Entire population is that, and all the voters are your population, but you cannot take the review or the feedback of all the voters for exit poll actually. So for that, what do? We conduct some experiment. How they conduct the experiment? They draw some samples actually. So what they do, they draw some small samples from the entire population, A, B, C, D, etc., E, F, etc. And what is this? Out of this, they do certain things as a control, and they do certain things as an experiment. So what they control is that, let's say the demography of a particular area, that's a control. The caste or the religion of a particular area, dominant area, that's a control. Now, what is the experiment? You ask certain questions, you ask certain feedback from them, and based on that, you try to estimate whether this person has voted for this party or not this party. You never ask whether you voted for this party or you have not voted for this party. Similarly, you look at the tweets of certain person in the last couple of years. You cannot collect all the tweets. You take some sample tweets and analyze them and find out their orientation towards a particular religion, towards a particular party, etc. And then find out that if this person has gone for voting, most probably he has voted for that. I tell you, there is one professor called Raj Bhatnagar. He is in US. He was a consultant to the Bill Clinton. Before that, who was there? Obama administration actually. What they were doing, they were trying to do this analysis from the Facebook post, Twitter post of the voters of United States, and trying to give a report to the Obama administration, Obama party, that look, these are the people most likely will vote for this party if they come to vote. So Obama party made sure that to bring those people to vote for voting, so that they know that if this person comes to vote, he will vote for us. If this person comes to vote, he will not vote for us. So that information actually helped them to win the election. So that is how the two experiments were conducted there. What is quasi-experiment? You cannot be conducting, in many times you cannot conduct an experiment with the individuals. So you form groups. So quasi-experiment is that you make a group. So for example, I make a group at Utkal University, I make a group at Berhampur University, I make a group at University of Hyderabad, I make a group at ISB, I make a group at IIM Ahmedabad. And then based on that group analysis, I try to generalize it. So the entire population, we make them as groups. And from the group, I do an experiment. But look at this is not true experiment, because group characteristic may not be exactly same as the individual characteristic. So what you say here, if a group is behaving like this, that means all individuals in that group will behave like this. For example, if you say that the University of Hyderabad group is behaving like this, that means, or suppose the University of Hyderabad group is satisfied with the online education. What do you mean to say that everybody at the University of Hyderabad group is satisfied with online education, which may not be exactly true. It's not a true experiment. So it's a quasi-experiment. It's a semi-experiment where we assume that the group behavior is the individual behavior. But individual behaviors may be slightly different. But in a true experiment, each individual, you pick up individuals and talk to them, or you take their input. So that's an individual experiment. Yeah. So this is basically the research design. But I'll tell you a couple of things if time. Can I have another 5 minutes, or should I stop it here? Hello?
Sure, sir. Sure, sir.
Okay. Now, how do I select a topic in this question? Now, first is that will anybody care about the answer, right? You give your 5 years of your research or 10 years of your research, 10 years of your life to a particular problem. You should also understand that will anybody care about the answer? Is there anybody who will actually read this, who will use this? So is there any utility in this answer? Sometimes we care about the answer because I give my 5 years of my life to that. Is this problem solvable within the given amount of time? You have from 5 years, 3 years, 4 years time. Can you solve this problem? That's very important. So is this the right time to start with it? Can I finish it with less than 3 to 5 years or something like that? Will I be the first to answer this question? Don't worry about this question much, because at this point of time, if you Google any problem, you find some hundreds of solutions or hundreds of papers there. But that's not important actually. Important is that that solution at that point of time may have some relevance, but the technology has changed. New technology has come, new questions have come, new environment has come, the situation has changed. So I can still answer this question. So this includes the past, but we can ensure ourselves by doing a good job on the library search. Are other people also working on it now? This is particularly very important in science research, because many people throughout the world are working on this problem. Now, if you also do it, will you be the first to answer this question, or you will be one among the many to answer this question? If you are one among the many to answer this question, how your answer will be different from the other answer? For example, I say that if you are doing a study on Odisha, right? If somebody is doing a study on United States, on California, that will be a different study, and your Odisha study will be different. So you should be able to tell that why my answer will be different from other answers, in which way it is applicable. Now, this is one quote which I like very much, is that Albert Einstein said, problems cannot be solved by thinking within the framework in which, not within which the problem was created. Suppose you created a problem was created because of some issue or some policy, and you want to solve the problem using the same policy. Is not correct. So the problems cannot be solved by thinking within the framework within which the problem were created. Suppose you see that there is a problem in the online education system that is being provided in the universities now. You cannot be sitting in the online mode and solve this problem. That's what Albert Einstein said. You have to come out of this problem and think differently, then you can solve the problem actually. In fact, this is what is from my personal experience actually. How do I enhance my research design actually? You accept that there is no right answer. If you accept that the answer is already given, then you have nothing to do in the research. So you accept there is no right answer. No right. Your answer is also not right. Your answer is appropriate. You can say it's an appropriate answer, but it may not be the right answer. 3 months back, they were saying that the Covishield second dose can be given between 4 to 6 weeks. Now they are saying 12 to 16 weeks. Now, what was the right? Whether now you are right or then you are right? No, there is no appropriate answer. It's an appropriate answer, but it's not a right answer. So if you question that, then only there is a question of doing research and coming out with a new or revised conclusion. Don't follow the rules. If I tell you that these are the rules, everybody knows the rules, right? If you follow the rules, you cannot be a great researcher or you cannot be a good researcher. Break the rules. Be foolish. Many times we feel that, what I am doing, am I so foolish? Remember, you know that, right? There is a good story actually. In fact, that person went on to win the, what is that prize in mathematics? I forget it. In mathematics, there is no Nobel Prize, but there is an equivalent prize in mathematics actually. So what happened, that person, when he was studying in a class, he could not attend the class, and he came back after the class and saw that there are 3 problems written in the blackboard. So he thought that the teacher might have given this as homework. So he took those 3 problems, went home and solved them, and came back next day and submitted to the teacher, "Sir, I could not attend the class yesterday, but I could do the homework which you have given, and these are the answers." The teacher was quite surprised because those are the 3 open problems. So far, nobody could solve it. Now, this person, without knowing that these are open problems, thought that these are homeworks, and he went and solved it. So sometimes what happens, this innocence, right? This innocence or the foolishness or doing something in an easier way. Somebody might have done it in a very difficult way. You feel that, what is this? I can do it like this. You may sound foolish, but that's the way to do it. Ask what if. What if in the sense, what if I fail? What if I don't succeed? What if my computer fails? What if my SPSS tool doesn't work? What if? That's a thing. Think outside your area, because that's very important. I tell you, if you are only confined to your area, your professor, your people, your papers, you will not get new ideas. You look beyond. If you are working on marketing, look at HRM. If you are working on HRM, look at finance. If you are working at finance, look at other areas. From there, you get ideas how to solve it. I gave you an example of Mahendra Singh Dhoni also. He was a goalkeeper in football, but he used that idea in cricket also. And he became a better thing because nobody thought that football ideas can be brought into cricket, right? Go for ambiguity. That's okay. You think of ambiguity in the sense, not very, little bit fuzzy, not very concrete answer actually. And most importantly, believe in yourself that yes, I can do it. I will be able to do it. This is, I think, Professor Prasad Mahapatra. Some of you might be knowing. He is a Vice-Chancellor at University of California, Davis campus. I had an opportunity to listen to him. And one of the slides I liked him and I thought I will share with you. PhD is a culture, it's an attitude, it's a motivation, and it's dignity, right? So it's a training. It's not teaching, it's a training. So you believe in a culture, that is what I'm saying. Continued quest for innovation and problem solving. It's not an on-off mode. You cannot say that between 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. I will do research, after that I will switch off. It's not a classroom. I told you in University of Sciences, we went to cinema halls and few people came back from cinema hall to the research lab. That means it is a continuous culture. It is not an on-off mode. I will do research between 9 to 10 a.m. It is not like that. It's your hard work, it is your perseverance, it is your dedication. That's what is PhD. You have to be motivating yourself actually. In your journey, you will find that most of the time you will feel down, but you should motivate yourself. You feel that, okay, I will be doing something which will be useful. So that's where it will be thing. And of course, it follows dignity. You will get a lot of respect, you will get a lot of self-satisfaction, and all these things will come. So PhD, thanks to Professor Prasad Mahapatra, this slide belongs to him. Okay. So this is the journey. This is the thing. Though enjoy the fun of research, take things lightly. You will face rejection. People ridicule you. People will laugh at you. People will say, "What is that you are doing?" and all these things. But it's a fun. It's a fun. You enjoy it actually. So research is hard, but lot of fun because of the following reasons. The hard part makes it challenging. The challenge makes it interesting. The interesting part makes it useful, and the usefulness makes the fun and worth it. So this is how the research should be done. Struggle and unsuccessful attempts, directions are integral part of research. Rejection of papers, unsuccessful analysis of the data, struggle. These are all integral part of the research. I would prefer, I think somebody is recording, you can read that. There is a Princeton professor who has written in his site, he is there, he has written, he has a biodata uploaded there, which is written as a biodata of failures. You know, if you look at my biodata, you only know that where I have succeeded. If you see that I have published 100 papers in my biodata, I have 200 papers which I submitted to the journal and it got rejected. That is not part of my biodata. So the biodata of failure is much larger, much longer than the biodata, actual biodata of successes. So the official biodata is a success story. But if you look at biodata of failures, that's where the unsuccessful attempts, struggles. Today I am at University of Hyderabad, but I have also applied to many other universities which didn't select me. But it is not part of my biodata, right? So if you look at that, you feel that, okay, that biodata of failure, I think I urge you that all of you please look at that Princeton website, see that biodata of failures, download it and read it. It's a very, very nicely written biodata actually. So in most cases, it is also financially rewarding. You do a good research, you will get a lot of projects, you will get good job and all these things. So points to remember: no substitute for hard work, push yourself outside the comfort zone, start from the fundamentals, ask questions. This is very important. Don't worry about, they will feel bad about it. Somebody has already published the research. If I say that, if I question that, he will feel bad about it. No, they will feel good about it, that somebody is working on that research. Adopting a systematic methodology is a good practice. It's the whole life in a concise form actually. You will see in your 5 years of time, 10 years of time, 6 years of time, the entire life is in a concise form, in a compressed form. You will see ups, downs, everything. It's a whole life in a small capsule. Why me? Why should you do it? Sometimes you see that, you know, why I put this slide is that if you Google it, you'll find that there are a lot of material on that. Then you feel that, what can I do for this actually? There are so many people are working on this. Can I do it? Or why me? Why should I solve this problem? If you feel that I'm smarter than others, it's a bad approach. You are not smarter than others. There are many people who are smarter than you. Because they ignored the potential problem, that's also not good. If there is a potential problem, most of the people in the world must be working on that actually. They will not ignore it actually. Because it is difficult, that is why I'm doing it, others are not doing it. No, that is also not true. Many people are capable of solving difficult problems. So things which are written in red are not actually true. But why me? If you feel that I'm a hard worker, I can work 10 hours a day, I can work 12 hours a day, I can work 16 hours a day, which probably others are not able to work, that's a better approach. Because now the new technologies come, new method have come, new tools have come. Earlier it was not there, so I should be attempting this with this tool and try to solve this problem. Because it has become relevant now. For example, 10 years back, working on some online research on online education, on online marketing was not there. The technology was not there. But now the technology has come, it has become relevant, so let me do research on this. So this is how you answer these questions actually. So should I do this? This is basically, how do I classify the research actually? Existing problems, existing methodology. So there are problems which are there, methodology is there. So what do? We take a problem, we take 5 methodology and try to say that which method is better than the other 4 methods or other 3 methods. Because if you take a problem and then apply 5 methods, one method has to be better than the other 4 methods, right? So you do that research and say that this is what I'm doing. Of course, 80% of the research is being done like that, but I don't say that this is a very good class of research problem. The second type of problem is that the problem is there, but you provided a new methodology to solve the problem. This is slightly better than the previous one. You design a new problem has come, but with the new problem you apply the existing methodology. That's also a still better approach of research classification. And then the fourth one, and which is the most difficult and the important one, is that a new problem and the new methodology. A completely new problem has come, and you design a new methodology to solve this. It's basically the jackpot actually. You get the jackpot here. So the difficulty level increases with the order. The first class is little easier. The fourth class is the most difficult part of it. But let me tell you, one may not be able to start from level 4. You cannot start with I will get a new problem and then a new methodology, then only I will do the research. No, you shouldn't do it. There is no need for that also. Continue working. You can start with kind of 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 at one. You continue working and you encounter newer problems and new methodologies. When you start working right, you will get a newer problem and newer methodology. That's where I started saying. You ride 5 meters, it's a foggy road, you will see another 5 meters. But if you see a new problem, let me tell you very honestly, most of our students, what they do, we discover a better method or a new problem towards the 4th year or 5th year of the research. And what they do, nahi sir, time ho gaya, I don't want to do it now, I will submit the thesis, I will do it after submitting thesis, and they miss the opportunity. When you miss the opportunity, that means it's very difficult to get a new problem and a new methodology. And once you get it, you are getting almost the jackpot, but because of time or because of something else, you don't work on that problem. And that means you miss the opportunity to become a great contributor to that knowledge actually. So that's the final list. What are the research exercises? What is the problem that excites you? You work on that problem. If you are interested in healthcare management, do healthcare. If you are interested in small scale industries, do small scale industries, but it should be close to your heart. First, model the problem, find a suitable problem, find out what people have already done about this, read a lot, question the formulation. I repeat, question the formulation. If you don't question, if you are happy with their formulation, you are not doing research. Do experiments, collect results, find out what are the gaps or assumptions made. For example, 10 years back, when people are doing research on mobile computers, 20 years back, when people are doing mobile computing, they were assuming that a person will move at a speed of maximum 5 meters per second. Now people are trying to talk about providing mobile services in the plane itself. So the speed has changed. So their assumption was that the speed was very less, but now the speed has increased. So look at those papers, what assumptions they have made, and whether those assumptions are true now. If those assumptions are not true now, you relax those assumptions, do the research again. The next one is that do you have the expertise, the necessary tools, and the lab to work on this problem? Then start working for a solution. And most importantly, I also tell you that there is a pray a bit for luck. So there is a luck factor also. Many a times in research you need it, and some people miss it actually. But I feel that that's also an important factor, because we work a lot. Many a times it doesn't work. Sometimes it works. So a bit of luck is also necessary. So thank you for your time. I think I have taken a lot of time, in fact. If you have any questions, I'm not seeing the chat box here, but I look at the chat box. So thank you, madam. I'm done with it.
Thank you so much, sir.
Yeah. I've taken more
so much. Really energized both the group.
Yeah. This Abha said the field medal. Yeah, I didn't get that medal name actually. It was field medal in mathematics actually.
Yes, so it's fields model.
Yeah, thank you, madam. So the professor went on to win the field medal, but that was his student life. He could solve the problem because he was not knowing that these are challenge problems. So sometimes it is good to become ignorant actually. And if I know that Newton attempted it and could not solve it, I will not solve it. Right?
Yes,
yeah.
Sir. So thank you so much, sir. As we do not have any upcoming questions,
so that's okay. I mean, it's a general talk, so I don't expect any questions also. But I wish that this will be useful in their research in next 4 or 5 years or 10 years to come, somewhere or other.
Sir, in case you have any questions, we'll channelize the questions to your email. From the audience, we'll collect the questions and we'll channelize the questions so that the issue can be solved. And thank you so much, sir. And for what is research, thank you, sir, for enlightening us about what is research and what is not, how research is, and why should we pursue research, linking the emotional aspects of Buddha's teaching with research, the 4 medals of Dukkha, Samadaya, Nirodha, and Marga, with empathizing, analyzing, solving, testing, and using, execution. So the traditional teachings do have an inherence in the modern day teachings also. That is what, sir, you proved. And you also emphasized on teamwork, and the hourglass model was really good, sir. And now I would like to quote a quote from Mr. Benjamin Franklin, the founding father of United States. He had once said, "Tell me and I forget. Teach me and I remember. Involve me and I learn." So if we work in a team, we are going to succeed.
Yes.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much for being with us.
I will also listen to your talks. And how are you doing, Dr. Manoj?
It's a fine, sir. Namaskar.
Namaskar, namaskar. So nice to see you. Okay, you can carry on. Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. So next
Thank
will be
you,
thank you, sir.
everybody. Namaskar.
Namaskar, sir. So next in the session, we have Dr. Manoj Kumar Das, sir, who is the Associate Professor at Indian Institute of Information Technology and Management, Gwalior. He is the visiting faculty in IIM Indore and an adjunct faculty of the Lancaster University, UK. He is a visiting professor of the Symbiosis Institute of Operation Management, Nasik, and GD Goenka World Institute, Gurgaon. He was the chairperson of the International Conference of Arts and Science of Harvard University of Boston. He has conducted many FDPs sponsored by AICT, MHRD, IIITM. We have him with us, and in the next technical session, we'll be listening to him. So over to you, sir.
Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Hello.
Perfectly audible.
Okay. Whether my PPT is visible to all of you?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Good afternoon to all of you. First of all, I'd like to thank Utkal University for providing me the opportunity to talk for 4 hours, 1 hour today and 3 hours tomorrow, for entire journey from a problem to tools and techniques. So this is my agenda. I will start from research problem to research tool and technique, a journey what Professor Udgata sir concluded, a research journey. I will start from there only. Then we'll discuss about exploratory factor analysis. Then we'll discuss about confirmatory factor analysis, and we'll discuss about structural question modeling by taking one problem. And if time permits, I will discuss about the regression analysis, because I'm having 4 hours now from 12:15 to tomorrow 1:30, and I will try my best to complete the whole process what I plan for this seminar. So I don't want to talk much more about it. Already it is introduced. I organized 31 FDP program. I have published 16 books, out of which 8 is international book. 3 projects already completed and 4 in process. So this is all about Abha I already talked about. I don't want to spend much more time on this point. So actually, Udgata sir and myself are from the same place from Shatarupa. Very concluded that believe in yourself. I start from there. Believe in yourself. Yes. Why you are gathering here? You are here. We have published or we written a good paper, and we want to publish this paper, and these are the reviewers. These people never accept a paper like this. Some are very good in tools, some are very good in reviews, some are very good in your analytical process, some will talk about novelty, some will talk about the grammar. So you have to pass each and everything, then only your paper can be accepted. And that is the challenges to sustain in academic research. If you write something, it doesn't mean that that paper is published. We have to work, we have to think how the paper will pass every reviewers, because now 99% reviewers are negative kind of people. They never accept a paper like it. It means whatever, suppose you write a good paper, if you write a good paper without any error, but the reviewer, when it comes to the reviewer, for example, think you are a reviewer, when I will submit one paper to you, you never take it positively. You always take it negatively, because automatically your ego and the negative mentality will be come out, and you always try to find out the mistakes. So first of all, you should, every researcher, every student should know that yes, the reviewers can never be positive mindset, they always negative mindset. But if I want to publish a paper, I should be follow the rules, regulation, process, ethics, and integrity. If I follow the rules, regulation, process, ethics, and integrity, then the chances of rejection will be less, and the chances of publication will be more. Udgata sir explained 2 very important points, that the beta block and believe in yourself. I think that being a researcher, you have to carry out these 2 things. First, believe in yourself, and second, beta block, because these 2 things are required at today's scenario. So already talked about what is analysis and analytics. I don't want to spend more time, but yes, what is my agenda? My agenda is I will explain a journey, how to start with problem one, and how to analyze the same problem or related problem with different tool and technique without changing your problem, your issues, your challenges. Before that, what I am explaining this PPT, when I ask some people, what is your expertise? He or she said that, sir, I am doing analytics. First of all, being a researcher, we should know what is the difference between analysis and analytics. Analysis and analytics analytics is a beautiful term, and analysis is also a traditional term. Even if I'm doing analysis, I'm claiming that I'm doing analytics. No. What is analysis? It's purely structure. We collect data from a questionnaire. We have to estimate the data from a sample, and we give the result. And that result will be we have to analyze through a hypothesis or some proven techniques. So it is based upon a sample-based estimation for generalization. But whenever analytics is highly unstructured. For example, if I write something in Facebook, and within 1 hour, I have received many information. Some are text, some are numerics, some are emojis, some are image, some are videos, and some are cartoon. Now I want to know the emotion of the public regarding my statement. Now when I want to analyze the emotions, the data are not similar. Data are highly unstructured because the volume, velocity, variety, and versities are different. So we call it a big data. So you cannot analyze, you cannot estimate having the same different types of data with single tool. What we will do? We will use some data mining tools here. Here we will collect data through questionnaire, but here based upon a requirement, we will go for data mining. We have a different software for that. Veka is one of the software. And after data mining, you want to visualize the data. Now see the difference. Here you have to estimate the result. So regression, factor, cluster, conjoint, discriminant, MDS, we have to estimate. But here, or t-test, f-test, z-test, whatever test you know, but here we do not estimate. We want to just visualize the things based upon graphs, diagrams, maps, charts, bubble charts, map charts, zinc charts, a lot of dashboard. So basically, we are preparing a dashboard to analyze the things. Now, what is the difference? One is estimation, another is called dashboard preparation. So if you do estimation and you are claiming that I am doing analytics, I think that fundamentally it is wrong. So if you create a dashboard and you want to analyze the things, I can say that you are doing analytics. But whether you go for analysis or analytics, the basic object of research is called decision making. Right? Sir said there are 4 types of analysis. What is Sir exactly said? One is called descriptive analysis, diagnostic analytics, predictive analysis, and prescriptive analytics. In a good research paper having 25 pages, the first 5 pages you talk about the descriptive analysis, what is happening. Next 5 pages you talk about diagnostic analysis, why it happens. You are using some tools and technique, and next 5 pages you talk about predictive analysis by applying what is likely to happen, and last 3 pages you talk about discussion and strategical implication, and it's called prescriptive analytics. So what happens when you do research? We should not ignore any one of these tools. We should start with descriptive first, then you go for diagnosis, then you go for predictive, then you go for prescriptive, and if prescriptive, then again another research start from this prescriptive and they go for again descriptive like this. This is a continuous process. So basically, what happened, I have seen some research paper that directly started from predictives and prescriptive. They don't know, they do not analyze about descriptive analysis and diagnostic analysis. So there are different tools and techniques that are there to analyze what is happening, why it happens, what is like to happen, and what should I do about it. So basically, there are 4 types of analysis. A good researcher write in the research paper, or good researcher write in thesis. So we should explain, we should know what are the different tools and techniques that are going to be used for descriptive, diagnosis, predictive, and prescriptive. Am I audible? Because I don't know whether I'm audible or not.
Yes, sir, you're audible.
So there is challenges. What is the research? Why research? When research? Where and how? Thanks to our Professor Udgata sir, he explained nicely about from research design to research process. I don't want to spend much more time to repeat the same thing what exactly he explained. But now I'll go further. First, ask yourself, what type of researcher you are. Are you issue-based researcher? Ask yourself. This is a question from every participant. Ask yourself, are you issue-based researcher? It means, suppose till now, today you are COVID, we are working on COVID. Before it was demonetization, working on demonetization. Before that, there is GST, I am working on GST. It means whenever an issue comes to in your mind, you start research then only. It is called issue-based researcher. Second, are you policy-based researcher? It means your research is totally based upon the government policy. It means you talk about poverty, you talk about the employment, you talk about the migrations, you talk about brand. So it means if you are a policy-based researcher, or are you industry-oriented researcher? It means you have taken the problem of industry and you try to solve the problem of industry and give some implication. Or simply you are a theoretical researcher, means you analyze the theory, you do the synthesis, antithesis, and synthesis, and there is no empirical one. And third, and are you a functional specialist researcher? For example, if you are marketing, the focus is to, or you are marketing brand building, the focus is to brand identity, brand revitalizations, brand product relationship. It means you're only focused on the brand. You not change your specialization, you not change your research, because you are a highly specialized researcher. And another thing is very important I have seen, which is called crowd following researcher. What is crowd following? Whatever my senior are doing, whatever my fellow worker are doing, I am doing the same thing. I do not have any problem. If my guide gives one problem, and because now I've seen there is a person who want to publish a book. He's interested book on right COVID. So he mailed something to many professors, and it is our duty to write a paper on COVID, because we have to submit a paper on COVID. So we are just following the crowd. Issue-based, policy-based, industry-based, theoretical-based, specialization-based. Now the problem is what? If you are crowd-following researcher or issue-based researcher, then what happens? No doubt you can publish your 100 number of paper, but the citations of your paper is very, very, very less. It means your H index and I index will be, if it is less than 5 or less than 10, nobody claim you that you are a good researcher. So my dear participants, please first focus. You should not be a crowd-following researcher, or because this will be immediate. It will give you immediate satisfaction, but in long term, your CV will be 100 pages with no value. And the last thing is called are a tools and researcher. Most of the director of AAA in IITs, they said that I am a tools and researcher, and I agree on this because I have seen the problem, and from this problem I want to know what tool can be applied. So Udgata sir rightly explained the two things. One is called existing problem and new problem, and there is called solution, existing solution and new solution. So it means if the problem is existing and solution is also existing, so it is type 1. If problem is existing, we go for the new solution, it is for 2. If problem is new and I go for existing solution, it is 3, and this is 4. And this is challenging one. It requires a lot of experience. So you will start like this. So it means when I see the existing problem, I will find out what are the already tools and techniques people have already used that. And based upon that, I will suggest what is the better technique it can be applied. If it is a new problem and I want to find a new solution, it will take some time. I want to do some experiment. I cannot claim that this is the right solution. So entire my 19 years of my teaching career, I am working on in this 4 quadrant, that is 1, 2, 3, 4. And for 4, I have developed three new techniques, that is called fuzzy BWA method, fuzzy toxis method, fuzzy dimensional method, and there is a ANP method. So I have developed some of the new that is called 2D topology method. I've used this method to solve the new problem with the new solution. But since you're starting career, you start with 1, then go to the 2, then 3, and then 4. I hope any question from your side, you can ask in between. No problem. Can I proceed? Then, when you do research, because I was given a topic called multivariate analysis. The multivariate analysis means when you analyze number of variables at point of time, single point of time, first ask yourself, which sector are you interested in? Are you interested in health sector? Are you interested in retail sector? Are you interested in the infrastructure sector? So first you decide your sector, because this will be the first step of every researcher should decide before going to research. Second, what are the research issues in that sector? Just write down 10 or 15 issues without reading anything, without discussing anything. Suppose I am interested to work for health sector, I just write what are the issues, what's coming to my mind, because I am already in a postgraduate student, I'm already did MPhil, I'm pursuing my PhD, I have some basic characteristics to think about it. Without reading, without going to review, I should write down 10 or 15 issues that I perceive that I will be analyzed. Then I will ask, what are the resource questions for the resource issue? I've selected 10 issues. Then for each issues, I will ask 2 or 3 questions in my, I will frame some questions. For example, suppose I take the health issues. I want to know the problem immigration, that is called, sorry, COVID issue. It is called immigration. Is my one of the issues. I ask 10 questions of immigration. Why immigration? In which place people are immigrated? Whether immigrated joined in infrastructure or agriculture sector? Why the immigration arises? So what, why, when, where, how, whom? I will write down this parameter for these issues. So if I write 10 or 15 questions without reviewing, without discussing anybody, then I can perceive that is so. Because there is a good thing. One of my directors said, Professor Deshmukh, now he's in IIT Delhi. He said, Dr. Das, visualization in the end is the best process of research. Before doing anything, you should visualize what should be the end. Maybe end is not good. Maybe end is not happy. But if you know that this will be your end, you can write your process. Otherwise, you cannot do the complete one. Then you ask about what tool I will apply. Then if you answer your 5 questions, if you identify your sectors, you identify your issues, you identify your questions, and you identify which tool is going to apply, then the next question is everybody professor asks, tell me the 5 researchers in this area, tell me the 5 institutes who work in this area, tell me 5 journals which publish in this area, tell me the 5 renowned books in this area, tell me the 5 top cited authors in this area. If your answer is no, then I can say that please go and study again. Now the study part will become here. Then you'll find out what are the novel contributions in this area so far and what can I do next. This is the 6-7 basic question. Every researcher will be work on this area. Now listen, this is my experience. I have conducted 30 FDPs and I visited more than 90 institutes for conducting research. So while throughout India, what I discussed, this is the template for every researcher should note down. You have to answer these questions. Now I will start with my journey. I choose one sector is called retail sector. This is because my area of interest is retail sector. So I choose retail sector. You just write down your sector, then identify the key concept. Can I write down 10 concept retail? That is called supply chain in retail, or digital revolution in the retail, customer acquisition in the retail, brand building in retail, retail acquisition, GDP in retail, FMCG retail, the export and import, international retail. So I will write down the 10 or 15 concept retail. Then I will find out what are the challenges in the retail. Then I will find out what approaches I should apply to answer my question. Can I go for the exploratory research? Can I go for a descriptive research? Can I go for the informational research? So I will discuss about the approaches. First of all, being a researcher, this diagram you should write down your table. Just yes, this is my sector. These are the 10 concepts I will work in the next 3 years. These are 10 challenges I should focus on, and these are 5 approaches I will look initially to answer my question. Each question, then before going to your
Hello? I'm not able to hear anything.
Probably sir is encountering a network issue, so he will be back shortly.
Yeah, hopefully. You can call him and tell.
Yes.
I'm audible? Hello?
Sir, please continue. You are audible.
Okay. मैं last slide कहाँ से मेरा disconnect हो गया था sir? This one? Hello?
Yes, sir.
यहाँ से डिस्कनेक्ट हुआ था ना, इससे पिछले में डिस्कनेक्ट हुआ था, कहाँ डिस्कनेक्ट हुआ था? This one or this one? Hello?
No, sir, you are discussing on the retail sector. I think this one. On the
This one.
yes, this slide. Yes, this slide.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Please
Now these are
continue.
the three things. First, before writing, I decided that I will work on retail sector. Then I write in the key concept, that is the supply chain retail branding, retail customer relationship, how to customer acquire it in retail, what is international retail, what is GDP in retail, why FDI retail. So I asked number of concepts in retail because these are the things I learned from my subject. Then I write down 10 challenges. What are retail challenges I have foresee or I want to do in research? Because till now I'm not doing any reviews. Then I will go for approaches. What approaches I should be applied? It is exploratory, or it is a quantitative, or qualitative, or descriptive, or inferential. So I will discuss the approaches. Then this is my area of interest. I will work on this. Then besides, then what I'll write, I will write down the key sectors, that is retail sector. Then my first issue I have taken, that is traffic in the mall. Why customers are not interested to visit the mall? That is my question I want to answer, and I want to develop a model, that is customer acquisition in retail model. And these are 4 questions I have framed for this. What factor influence the customer to visit the mall? Whether gender, income, age, characteristic, whether urbanization, role of government tech, or it is, you can say that the location or locality attitudes will influence the customer visit. What factor customer satisfied? And what strategy I should be formulated? These are the things. Now tell me what I will do now. Can I directly go into the research, or what the next step? What is my next journey? I decided to work on retail. I decided one issue, that is low traffic in a mall, customer acquisition. I framed 4 questions. What will be my next step? Anybody, any one of you? Please participate, because I want to interactive class. Any one of you? What is my next
Sir, we will go to literature review, past studies, and from that we can borrow some items.
Suppose there are 576 papers already published in this area. Now let me explain. We're saying that we're going to, okay, for example, now next step is, I'll go to there is a concept called, is it visible to all of you? Whether it is visible?
Yes, sir, it is visible.
Now what happened? The next step is I want to know who are the people who already work in this area. I'll be the 1,000 person or I'm the 10th person. That I want to know. So what I'll write, I go to the scopus, just I write detail, I write customer acquisition. Is it clear? Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
I
sir.
search it. When I search, I found there are 224 articles already published in this area. If I will write one paper on this area, what is my number? What is my number?
225.
So in a good research paper, we cannot give more than 60 or 60 references. So it means 224 already references already there. So do you think that it is the right approach to start with this area, or what we will do? Hello?
Sir, we will go for research gaps.
So how to find out research gap? That is my entire procedure. Now what I will then I will go for, there is a, what is it written here? What is written here?
Analyze search results.
First I will click that. Now when I click this analyze search result, now I got some of the different things. First I have seen that this area started in the year of 1977. It is now it increases from 2001 to 2005, again declines. Now if you're looking this trend, what is your view? What is the maximum number of paper published in a year in this area? 10, 9, 5, 8, 14, 16, 2. Is it clear? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Please participate. Now, what is your view? Can I write a good paper on this? If there are 16 papers published in this area, this topic, for a year, what is my number? It is very, very less. Do you know how much paper published in COVID in last 3 months? Any rough idea? How much paper published in the last 3 months?
No, sir.
It is 87,236 papers. Last 3 to 4 months, we have seen that I will show you in the scopus. I will explain one. First of all, I want to explain. So tell me, this is a trend. So from this trend, we have seen that this is a potential. I can work on this area because not more than 20 people are working in this area for a year. Clear? Second, I want to know who are the highest author in this area. Who is the highest author? Loudon, Repeat, Bello, it means maximum 3 papers have published in this area. So it means retail में, customer acquisition में, so the maximum 3 papers ज़्यादा किसी का है नहीं. Then what and next? I want to find out which area people are working. I see that IIT Mumbai, Oxford, IIT Mumbai में 3 काम हुआ है, Oxford में 3 काम हुआ है, Georgetown में 3 काम हुआ है. These are the things I have seen that based upon the institute wise also, I have seen that in India only one institute, some people are working in this area from IIT Mumbai. Then I want to know which country publishes highest in number. Which is the highest in number? Hello?
United States.
United States. Highest in number, followed by UK. India only published 19 papers. It means if I will write one paper, I can claim that I will be the 20th author. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
So yes, now, sir. Do you think there is some scope to work in this area? Because there is not a huge authors are from India. There is not a huge authors from any single author. So there is a scope. So I decided, yes, I can work on this area. Now what next? What next? So what I will do, I will write retail sector, traffic. I will write on the keywords. What are the keywords? First keyword will be your sector. Second keyword will be the problem. Third is your factor, that is called approach, influencing factor. Fourth is your process, impact of satisfaction. And fifth is your scope, that is demographic. So please listen, your keyword will be sector, then problem, then approach, then impact, that is called your scope, and the last is called your implication. So it means you have to write down the 6 words, because while searching literature, I will use this term C1 plus C2. It means retail plus traffic. I will search. Then C1, C2, C3. Suppose when I search these 2 words, okay. When I search these 2 words, I got 586 papers already there. when I use the third term, what is third term? What is the third term? Hello?
Approach.
Influencing factor.
Approach.
It reduced from 586 to 236 paper. When I use another term that is called important satisfaction, that is my area, I found that there is 126 paper. When I use all the 5 things for my searching purposes, the Web of Science, Google Scholar, or Scopus, or Springer, or whatever may be, I found that there are only 76 paper is published. Now, question arises, out of 586, the only 76 is the worthwhile to read. Clear? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Because
Yes,
these are my paper to whom I will be look after. What next? What next? Then this is the step I have to follow before doing multivariate. First, I will do, what is the first step? What is first step? First, I will do the bibliometric
analysis.
To know the dry resource area through there is 2 software called Voice Viewer and Site and Explorer. I will take 5 minutes to explain this concept. Okay. Now, what is the first step? Now here, I'll go to the back. How many papers are there? 200?
24. 224.
Then I will save all these files.
224.
I will save all 224 files. 224 files. Now this file is already there. Now these are the paper, authors, the year wise, the source wise, volume wise, issue wise, DOI wise. I got the everything. I got the database. Clear? Clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
That I'm having now 224.
224.
Now the question is, do you think that can I get all 225 paper to review the things? अगर ऐसे करो तो हनुमान बनेंगे. हनुमान, do you know the story of Hanuman? Hello, I hope you know the story of Hanuman. I don't want to spend much more time. Then what next?
Yes.
Then I'll go to the one software called Voice Viewer. Which software? I'll go to the create. इसके अलग से क्लास करें आपको ट्रेनिंग जरूरी है. और you can go to my YouTube channel. I have completely analyzed the voice viewer. एक चीज के लिए मैं एनालिसिस किया हूँ. ओके, जस्ट मैं खाली ग्लांस दिखा रहा हूँ कि हम लोग कैसे करते हैं काम. ओके, दिस इज कॉल्ड voice viewer. There is called, I go for the data. Now first, this is the figure I got. Now listen, how to do that? Please go to the open. When you say go to the create. The software called write down voice viewer. For more details, please go through my YouTube channel. I have given a 1 hour lecture on this, how to analyze the review and how to select your best paper and how to find out dry paper area. Then go to the create. There is a call, create a mesh-based bibliographic data. Go to the next. Then my data is based upon the Scopus because this software will support 4 things: Web of Science, Scopus, Dimension, Public Made. Since my data is based upon Scopus, then I will go for the particular file. I will share this file to all of you. This 224 data I have taken. Then I'll go to the next. Then I go for the all keywords analysis. And I'll say next. I'll say next. I'll say finish. Now tell me, what are the 3 areas where people already worked? Which topic में ज़्यादा लोग काम कर चुके हैं? बताओ.
Customer satisfaction, data acquisition, retail store.
Customer satisfaction में ज़्यादा काम हो चुका है. Data acquisition में काम हो चुका है.
Data acquisition.
Sales में काम हो चुका है. If I say that e-retail, you say the e-retail. Only e-retail में बहुत कम काम हुआ है. E-retail, e-commerce, okay, it is not related. If I go for data acquisition, I see that most of people have already worked in data acquisition. Some work for energy management, some are related. Okay. If I say that packaging part, I have seen these are people who have already talked about packaging satisfaction, packaging product development, the food products. So what is your conclusion? What is my area of interest? Customer acquisition. Can I find any customer acquisition here? कुछ मिला क्या मुझे यहाँ पर? Customer acquisition. Word है क्या यहाँ पर? नहीं. Yes, this is here. Okay, acquisition. Clear? Hello.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Now it is very less in number. So now see,
Yes, sir.
so the small dot are the more dry area. I can work on this area because in one area I can say that e-retail में बहुत कम काम हुआ है regarding customer acquisition. Similarly, small dot जो तो peripheral area में, outside area में, I can work on this. I cannot work on this particular this for data acquisition, sales, satisfaction because there are large number of work already there. Is it clear? Hello.
Yes, sir.
So now from this onward, what I concluded, yes, I will select this area that is called e-retail because I changed my strategy now from retail to e-retail because in e-retail there is not a number of papers published, so there is a scope to work on e-retail on customer acquisition. So my area of interest now is how customer is acquired in online market through a different channel. Then what I will do? Then the next step is I got the dry research area. The dry research is called e-retail, and the same is acquisition, and the next is called meta-analysis. Now I have seen the many research paper written लिख रहे हैं there is no significant paper is published in this area. हम lecture लिखते हो. I hope you आप क्या लिख रहे हो? There is no significant paper published in this area. What does it mean? No significant paper. What does it mean? How many paper you got? 200. How many paper you got?
254.
224.
224. Okay, and when you apply the bibliometric, I got e-retail में only 76 paper मेरे पास आ गया है because I'm interested in e-retail. Now question is how to find out which paper is the right paper or good paper. So for that there is a concept called which analysis? Which analysis? Which analysis? Meta-analysis.
Bibliometric analysis.
Hello. The meta-analysis will talk about whether out of 76 paper, which are the 20 paper or 25 paper which worth to read, which have a highly significant area work on this. For example, I will give you one example here. This is your meta-analysis. From here, what I have seen, these are the paper. These are the sample size is person is taken in this paper. It's like 940 because every paper having the different sample size having giving different result. Now, if you one say 0.2 relation satisfaction, one say 0.5, one same area say 0.4, one say 0.1, there is a lot of confusion. Why in the same area different people reported different values? What should the ideal value? So that case, and what is a good paper to read? For that case, I will apply the meta-analysis. There are two softwares called Jamovi and Stata. From the, when I use this paper, let me explain the process. The process is a software. Is it visible to all of you? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Is the study name?
It is visible.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
The beta value, I will take in the number predictor. When I go for this, though I will got this one. Forest plot is मुझे मिलेगा. From this forest plot, if any point is intersect this line, we can say this is not a good paper. So it means this paper is a good paper because this paper doesn't touch this this vertical line. So 1, 2, 3, 4 or 5. This 5 paper is sample बता रहा हूँ. If 5 paper has significant paper because they do not touch this vertical line and they are close to this forest plot. So we have to do for a lot of analysis, subgroup analysis. We got moderator analysis. The publication by these are paper. These are all paper जो हमारा triangle में रहेगा वो paper हमारा review के लिए काम आएगा. बाकी paper not worthwhile. So now this is the scientific way to find out of 76. I will select 136 paper which has worthwhile, which is between your within the range of the triangular. So this paper I can read because these are the very good paper which have contributed a lot in my area. So here what I want to say, don't conclude that I will directly go to the review. First you go the bibliometry, then you go for the meta. Bibliometry you got 226 paper, you do some visualization like this. Okay, now here this is one visualization. Who is the preeminent author? This bibliometric analysis help us to understand your keyword, country-wise, author-wise, citation-wise, highly cited authors, more research area. These are different diagrams we can carry out to understand our research. These are the country-wise analysis, which country publishes highest number of paper. These are the topic-wise or keyword-wise. So these are the things we can help. What is the first step? Anybody? What is the first step?
Bibliometric analysis. Bibliometric
sector,
analysis.
first sector, then write down issues, then write down challenges,
Research
then talk
questions.
literature, then go for bibliometry, then go for meta. In meta analysis, we'll talk about which is, for example, now see, I have taken 4 paper, different size. When I use this correlation, this is called the summary effect. This is called the different effect size. Now here, what I want to know whether the effects are the fixed effect or random effect. So I see that the effects are not fixed; it changes. So I want to know why the different paper having different correlation. When I use the subgroup analysis, I have seen that some paper having this paper has similar contribution, this paper has similar contribution. So the retail sector में ये जो paper है, ये talk about the that is called South India. This paper talk about East India. So within India, ranges are different, but while go for the classification, I found that there is a similar relationship I'll found. Then I'll find out which paper I can be read. So from this point, I can see that out of 76 paper, I will select the 32 paper which is worthwhile and go for the review purposes. Then I go for a third step is called static literature review to understand my problem. It means journal-wise, author-wise, country-wise, I will select that number of authors. So it means suppose कल interview पूछा जाएगा कि Dr. Das, you are saying that you are did research in detail. Tell me the 5 journal I can publish. So if I have a group of SL, there is a software called comprehensive meta. This comprehensive meta and the Web of Science will help us to analyze these things. We will talk about who are the top journal in this area, which are the top authors in my area, which top country published in this area, what are the top affiliations in this area, so that I should know the more about my research before going to multivariate. Because listen, multivariate is a tool. It is a garbage in and garbage out. Before that, being a researcher, we should clearly focus what is my bibliometric, what is my meta, what is my SLR. So this is the trend line. I've already discussed about this. Once you got all the things, then the next step is called citations. So now what happened? I concluded 36 paper to analyze my research. Then what next? Anybody? 36 paper I identify here. Out of 224, these 36 is my paper to whom I will review the article. It is based upon the bibliometric, which is called dry research. It is based upon meta-analysis, which talk about the significant paper. It is based upon SLR, which has the highest citation author, highest keyword authors, and I got all the things. Now tell me, once I got 36 paper print out, what I will do now? Anybody?
Sir, research gap, research question.
How to do about it? Now, what there is a step called like this. To write down. This is a step called serial number, author, then title, then write down your area, then broad objective, research, then factors, then the conclusion, main conclusion, and limitation. So you prepare the 10 column for each paper. While reading this paper, don't read the paper. Please go to the abstract. Abstract में आपको author number मिल जाएगा, title मिल जाएगा, and write down the broad objective of the paper. Just write down the 2-line one, not more than the 2-line. Then write down which country it is already worked. Write down which tools they apply. Factor analysis, cluster analysis, multivariate or conjugate analysis. Then what are the key factors talk about? That is retail, that is called, just for example, service quality, tangibility, empathy, assurance, responsiveness. Just write down all the factors. But what are the key conclusion is given? What is limitation? When I write down all 36 column or 36 row, I can write a good review on this. Am I right or not? Hello?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
So it means without looking at the paper, I can say that the Das 2019 studied the service quality in Indian banking sector, where he has taken structure equation modeling. He identified the 5 factors: responsiveness, quality, empathy, and assurance. According to the researcher, empathy is one of the important aspects which will lead to more satisfaction. However, the research is only conducted in the Odisha, the eastern part of Odisha. It can be generalized by taking other states. Khatam. Means Then once you got all this जब रो वाइज कर लोगे, once आपको खुद ही आप ड्राफ्टिंग कर लोगे, 20 पेज का ड्राफ्टिंग बनेगा, then you go to then study the research literature. because हम लोग क्या करते हैं, लिटरेचर स्टडी कर लेते हैं, उसको अंडरलाइन कर लेते हैं, समझ नहीं तो छोड़ देते हैं. डोंट डू दैट प्लीज. एब्स्ट्रैक्ट को स्कैन करो, राइट डाउन योर रो फॉर्मेट, देन रो को अपने कन्वर्ट करो टेक्स्ट फॉर्मेट, राइट योर टेक्स्ट having a 20 page information. Now up to this you can able to you can say that to a guide, sir, this is the area where people are lot, these authors are what here, this is a country, this is the problem already talk about, these are factors already talk about, these are tools already talk about. Suppose I will say, can you apply for the SEM model? I will yes sir, you can apply, because till now there is no author as per my knowledge is concerned is applied. That is a scientific way you to answer. But I will yes sir, I'm consistent sir, not okay sir, you can do sir. No, that is not a right answer. So before discussing with the professor or the supervisor, you should have a clear cut information to you that yes, you claim that what are the tools already people have worked, and do you know the tools? If yes, okay. You don't know, please attend some training and know the tools, because these tool and technique will be used in the research. Once you know this abstract को जो हम लोग paraphrase कर लेते हैं, next is called citation, because ultimately when you go for a quantitative analysis, we want variables, and that variable should a clearly highly cited variable, not a uncited variable. So what I do is, one of my paper I have taken this PDF. What I'll do, I write these are the dimensions people are talk about, then I will write down per dimension what are the major items and who are the people they have given the references. So when I prepared the Excel format of after paraphrasing, I will get this type of information. Every lecture, for each slide I am having 1 hour lecture. Please go through my YouTube channel and you should know how I collected the citations. So now tell me, up to this we've discussed these are the factors that people are talking about. Now how I conclude this 24 variable? Anybody? How I have concluded these 24 variable I want to study in my research. How I yes, anybody? These are the factors people are talking about regarding the customer acquisition. Some say parking, some say safety, some security events. Now tell me, these are highly cited authors, cited variables, and some are the new emerging variable. Now tell me how I concluded this 24 statement like this for my research. What are the basis? Okay, I'll explain now.
So the row and column you have formulated in the previous slide. From that, the keywords that were formulated, from that we can conclude the keywords that you have mentioned now.
Okay. Now the question arises: can I apply all 24 variable what I extracted from the literature for my study? Yes or no? Suppose
yes, sir, we can.
Suppose this is called discotheque. This is called, or another is called the or for example bar. Now when this bar, or you can say that the crèche is one of the variable that German people are having in retail, that okay, but in Indian case crèche is not there. But if you use the crèche in my questionnaire, then what happened? 90% will say, 99% say this can't say. Clear? Hello?
Yes sir, yes sir.
Yes sir.
So the question is, when we got 56 variable or 55 variable, the question is, can I directly go for my questionnaire, or what is the next step? So what is the next step? I got 55 variable.
Yeah. Sir, we could analyze.
There are what are different ways to analyze? What are different way? First way is to observation. First way is to observation. You write down all 55 variable like this. You observe whether this variable is there on you in your sample or not. ये है, these are, but ये not. मेरा दो तीन विजिट किया मैंने, डिस्कोथेक नहीं है, बार नहीं है, जिम नहीं है. Clear? So first you observe. Second, to discuss with some experts. Do you think that this is a more important variable or not? Third, go for highly cited variable. And then fourth is newly emerged variable, which is newly you have seen but not explained by any researcher in their paper. For example, there is a call COVID. पहले अभी जो कोविड आने के बाद अभी क्या हुआ, हम लोग को एक सर्टिफिकेट मिल रहा है, पर हमको क्या जा रहा है, हैंड वॉश करने दिया जाए, पहले तो नहीं था ना. Now PP kit, hand wash, security, sanitization. Now अभी newly emerged variables है detail में. So this, if you go for the last 20-year paper, you'll never find this type of variables in your research or satisfaction. Now the question arises, I do not conclude all 55 variables from the literature review. What I will do, once I collected 55 papers, I will go for the observation study, I go for focus study, I go for a highly cited value, and I go for the newly emerged variable. Based upon all the four, the चारों में ठीक होगा, चारों में ठीक रहेगा, ऑब्जर्वेशन में रहेगा, रिव्यू में भी रहेगा, और मेरा साइटेशन में भी रहेगा, ओके, एंड डिस्कशन में रहेगा. That I will include it for my research. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Because
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
What happen? हम लोग क्या करते हैं? इसके क्वेश्चन ले जाते हैं. अब हम बोलते हैं, do you like the bar in this mall? But उस बार कभी इंडिया में है ही नहीं. Okay? अभी वो बंदा क्या करेगा? हाँ, yes, satisfied. And you are using that variable for my study, which is no value. So, any good researcher will ask, tell me how you identify, how you conclude that 35 statement for your research. What are the logic? What are the process you follow? Then you start with your problem, then bibliometric, then meta, SLR, finding research paper, after paraphrasing, then go for review. Then I discuss the four current, one based upon the observation, based upon the citation, based upon the discussion, and based upon the new language variable. If all are 4 tick are, then based on 55 variable, I have concluded this 24 variable for my study. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Now tell me, it is bivariate or univariate or multivariate?
Sir, multivariate.
Why multivariate, sir?
Why it is multivariate?
So there are 24 variables here.
There are more than one variable, more than two variables, yes, is there? Okay, two variables bivariate. So when you have analyzed more than two variables in one point of time, that can be used by multivariate. So there are different approaches. We can go for multivariate, multi-criteria, multi-attribute, multi-objective. There are different processes. Now see, I will not change my problem. I will not change my challenges. I will not change my sector. I can write 20 papers on this sector. Now tell me how. Now, I already explained about this one. Highly cited variable, identify, common variable, new emerged variable. Okay. Now the second thing is, once I got this paper, I have to design a questionnaire. For a good questionnaire, there are 4 sections. I hope everybody know. First is demographic. Second is closed-end question, based on binary, rating, ranking, and comparison, which will be used for this purposes: hypothesis testing, inside your problem, descriptive analysis, and diagnosis analysis. Okay, so this section be purely closed-end questions, and that will be used for this only for descriptive analysis. And section C will be a Likert-based question. If you are interested to apply multivariate analysis, then for that case you will use the 5-point and 7-point Likert question, where the objective will be to go for multivariate, inferences, predictive, and diagnosis. And last, if you want to introduce some strategical implications based upon what people say and what your result says, then you end your question with open-end question that will be used for strategy formulation and prospective for further research. Is it clear? Hello?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Now, once you got all the things, what is the objective? The objective is it will be used for the scale development. 3 things required. One is your scale.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Reliability, and it's called validity. So we call it a SCRAB approach. Your questionnaire should have a SCRAB. What is SCRAB? Identification of variable, scale development, citations of that variable should be there. You cannot say that this question is by your own. Every question should have logic, should have scientific way. Why you use that question in your research? Whether it is cited by someone, or it is a logic, or based upon your objectives. Then it should be adequate number of question, it should be reliability, and it should be validity. So if you apply SCRAB approach, then you are eligible to go for multivariate analysis. Now the question is, I will start how? What is my first objective? Anybody? What is my first objective? Just read down. Any one of you? What is the first objective?
Exploratory factor analysis.
Exploratory factor analysis.
So first thing is that to find out factor. For that objective, what tool I going to apply? Exploratory factor analysis. Once I identify the factor, that is based upon 500 or 700 sample. Can I generalize the result for the population? Can I say that this 5 factor is morely responsible or morely solely responsible? So for that, I want to, what is my next objective? I want to validate. Means whatever the scale I developed, the factor I have developed, that I can be, if you want to generalize that thing, that means to validate the scale which influence the customer visit in the mall. If when is the what is called validate, that case what I will use? Confirmatory factor analysis. Now I now here after CFA I got in EFA I got 8 factors. When I apply CFA it reduced 6 factors. 2 factor is reduced and 5 statement is reduced because these are not generalized. Who says? Which technique says? Confirmatory. So most of people say that identification and validation of the scale, they are using these 2 scales because scale development can be possible only for confirmatory factor analysis, and confirmatory factor can be possible only if you are having exploratory factor analysis. What is my third objective? I want to find out the structural model of intention. I got this factor which influence the customer, and I want to know whether this factor influence or intention to visit, and whether intention lead to purchase or not purchase. So I will develop this hypothesis relationship. Means which factor is responsible for intention, with intention is related to purchase or intention is not related to unpurchase, or we can say that unplanned behavior. So if you develop this model, I want to test this hypothesis, then what is the tool I want to apply? What is the tool?
Structural equation modeling.
What is the objective structural model? The objective structural model is to measure the hypothetical relationship or to test the relationship between factor to factor. Okay, so it means intention factor to satisfaction factor, एक relationship है क्या नहीं? Some people will say that, sir, we have a regression. Yes, it is a simultaneous regression. It is a multiple regression. Means, sorry, not multiple, simultaneous regression. The different regression equation we have to apply to understand whether the path which is significant or not. For example, if we say that these 3 factors related to intention, and this intention related to satisfaction, and satisfaction related to purchase. Okay, now this relationship I want to develop to test. For that case, I will go for SEM. Now, can SEM will be directly be used without using EFA, CFA? Yes or no? Hello? Can directly objective 3 can be directly analyzed without doing 1 and 2?
No, sir.
No. So this is the first step is I want to know whether gender, age, income, or the area has some influence on intention to visit. So when you go for demographic characteristics in your structural model, that can be analyzed through the concept called moderation and mediation of SEM. Clear? This is general SEM, and if you want to use the demographic characteristics, you apply moderation, mediation. These 4 I will explain tomorrow. Then once I know the demographic characteristics, then I want to know what are the impact of attitudes. What is the word here? What is the word here?
The impact.
When the means I want to find out which factor impacts satisfaction positively, negatively, how much. Then that case, I want to know who are the customer who are really interested in product. It means I want to listen. When cart analysis, classification regression. Next, once those that visited my customer, I want to know the sentiment of their analysis. Means they are positively satisfied, they are like positive or negative people, or they are negatively satisfied, or they are neutral. If I want to do analyze this, then I can use the concept called text analytics through NLP. Then my boss says, Dr. Das, you did a lot of model. Now tell me, I have got a 200 customer in last day. Tell me whether they will purchase my product or not. So when your objective is dichotomous, then that case, I will use one model is called, which one? Likely to purchase or not purchase. When objective dichotomous, which analysis I want to use?
Predictive.
Discriminant. Because dependent variable is dichotomous, independent variable has a scale data, and you want to know which variable impacted for purchasing and which variable impacted for not purchasing. So when a dichotomous of dependent variable is there, that can be measured through discriminant. Then I want to know what are the customer lifetime value of retail mall. It means who are the people to whom I target, who are the to whom I give the loyal card, to whom I will give the 20% discount, to whom I will contact, who are my churn customer. If I want to the inventory lifetime value, I go for RFM analysis. Then I want to know the forecasting. What will be my customer after 2 months, 3 months, 5 months? Then I go for time series modeling. Now see, without changing the sector, without changing the problem, okay, I am using 10 tools to write a 10 paper. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Hello?
Yes, sir.
Hello? Now, multivariate is enough. Then मुझे बोला गया कि जो भी आपने काम किया डॉक्टर दास is based upon 500 customer. Can your result will be applicable? Can the strategist will use your model? Can the policy maker or industry people use the model? If you're interested in for the strategical formulation, then I go for the multi-criteria techniques. It means I don't need to discuss with the customer. I don't need required to 500 or 1,000 customer. I just need 10 experts. If I'm having 10 experts who are really expert in this field, okay, who are, for example, health, doctors is my expert, policy is my expert, research is my expert, so I will take 10. What is the first problem? To identify the barriers of why the problem is there, why people are not coming. Then I go for ISA model. I want to develop strategy for overcoming the problem. I go for TSA model. I want to develop the prioritized strategy. What strategy I have to apply to getting more and more customer in my mall, prioritized strategy or sub-strategy. Then I go for analytical hierarchical process, HP tools. I want to know what are the cause and effect of the strategy. अगर मैं कोई strategy apply कर रहा हूँ, इसके cause क्या होगा, इसके effect क्या होगा मेरे company में. For that case, I'll go for demodel approach. Then I want to know if what is my position. If there are 10 retailers already there, what will be my position, and in which area I am very good, and which area I am not so good. This is your objective. I go for top-switch approach. Then I want to know what are the, suppose if a customer will purchase the Colgate, what is the probability he will purchase the palm oil. So if I want to know the product intimacy and product bundling, I go for market basket analysis. Now see, without changing the problem, same objective, I can use also the multi-criteria tool ISM, TISM, AHP, DMetal, top-switch, market basket, sentiment, RFM, and cart. And if you're interested in fuzzy, it means I'm a complex environment. It means my exponents are not so very literate. They know, but they can distinguish between the what is good, what is not good. Then I go for fuzzy method, which is called complex environment. It means if everything is a fuzzy, okay, 0 and 1, then how will we carry out? Again, I go for fuzzy ISM, fuzzy TSM, fuzzy HP, fuzzy DMetal. So it means barriers, ISM, strategy, TISM, strategy, TISM, then prioritize, AHP, cause and effect, DMetal, benchmarking, top-switch, cross-selling, upselling, market basket, sentiment, NLP, text analytics, and develop attitude model, SM, then CLB, RFM and card. So for each keyword, if अगर keyword अगर पता लग जाएगा अपने objective में, I can suggest what best tools we can apply. So what is the concept? So you start with EFA, then CFA, then SCM. This is one part. For that, you require minimum 400 data, require response from customer, require SPSS, require multivariate tool. But if you want to proceed further, then you require ISM for understand the barriers, HP to understand the strategy, priority strategy, DMetal to understand the cause and effect, and top-switch to understand the benchmarking. For that, you require the multi-criteria. So you have to travel from EF to top-switch. So I have published a minimum one paper on each every tool, same area. So these are the lot of multivariate tools that people are using: exploratory, confirmatory, cluster, RFM, churn, CLB, text, regression, dummy, probit, market basket, cart, conjoint, multi-dimensional scaling, balance scorecard. Now just I want to know How many tools you people know? How many of you say, I know 6 tools? Anybody? Out of all?
No,
All? Yeah? Anybody? So listen, all tools, you can apply the single problem. So my question is, first, if you are really good, right, interested for research for next 3 to 4 years, select your sector, select your challenges, write down the questions, do the bibliometric, do the meta, do the SLR, do the review, do the citation, develop the questionnaire. Then, then everything is yours. You do not require any help from any professor, anyone. You just learn the techniques because you know you know the process, the how to start, when to start, okay, where to control, how much to control. Then you can write down very good paper on this. Okay, any one of you say that you are saying that you know 6 techniques, please. Am I audible? Hello.
Yes, sir, you're audible.
Okay. But now tomorrow I will discuss the 3 things: EFA, CFA, SCM, Udgata, which I've taken. Listen, ये 3 घंटा में I will explain how to design from exploratory to reach to SCM through process. Okay. मैं ज़्यादा थ्योरी नहीं बोलूँगा, मैं प्योर प्रैक्टिकल एक्सपेरिमेंट एंड जितना जरूरी है वो चीज बोलूँगा, so that you can write a paper on that. So this is my things. So what you want? Can I stop here? Hello? Or you want paper analysis now? Hello? Any question from your side? So from tomorrow I will start this one. Any question?
I think Manoj sir, they have done by me.
अच्छा साउंड ऑडिबल नहीं हो रहा सर ऑडिबल नहीं हो रहा है
हेलो सर
हाँ सर बोलिए सर
हाँ सर I think students they have done this test by me and I think they should get the readout of the materials what you have given. So there's some material possibility they will read the materials Shatarupa, Abha.
Any question for participants? Any question for participants?
So there are some questions in the chat box.
Okay, Anuradha Mishra, sir, how can you assess a good research paper? Now tell me, what do you make good research paper? Good research paper is 2 things. First of all, you should know what is the top journal in your area. That is, for example, you have ABDC journal, ABDC, you go for A star A journal in your area, and please sort the literature about there because that paper having good research because that is you can find out this is called impact research. Okay, so good research paper means those papers which are highly cited papers and having published in a good journal, reputed journal, not journal from C grade, B grade, or any conference or anything. So please select the top journal that is called A star journal. Okay, you know, for example, benchmarking, or you call for IJSM, or you can say that marketing science. These are the top journal in the marketing. Just journal of consumer behavior, journal of consumer research. Or if those papers published in this journal, I can say that it is good journal. So if you say that 36 papers you have identified, just go through which journal they publish and categorize it. If out of 36 there are 10 papers which is published in extra journal, that is I can say it is a good journal. That is a good paper because that is worthwhile, it is a highly peer reviewed research and it is impact research. Next is Okay. Any other questions? Light चला गया था, discurrent हो गया था. Any other question? Anuradha, whether I answered your question? And
Sir,
Pooja
actually you were not audible.
Now it is audible. You have asked one question, that is, which is a good paper. Now, good paper. Listen, in ABDC journal, we are having A-star journal. Suppose you identify 76 paper. Out of 76 paper, please go to journal list. If the journal is classified into A-star journal or top rated journal, okay, then that paper you can say that it is impact from impact journal, it is a good paper. And those papers are highly cited paper, because I already explained Scopus, which was a highly cited paper. So highly cited paper and paper published in the reputed journal, A-star journal or A-class journal are called the better journal. Okay, better paper. Okay, so when you say 76, identify 76 paper, do this exercise. Out of C, if there are 20 papers are in very reputed journal, that is your best paper. That is the best paper, because if you refer that paper and give references, chances of publication will be more and more. Then Pooja Balwar Singh, Sirji, I will apply principal component analysis using SPSS. But so data format is not supported. Tomorrow I will explain about these things. So I will answer your question tomorrow. Okay, Pooja ji, I will explain the format to analysis, and your topic is of satisfaction. Okay, I will explain about tomorrow. You please attend 10:30 sharp. Then second, Anuradha Mishra, you cannot go for paying the charges for access this paper. Now see, you are having Facebook, you are having different social network, and we are from Odisha. हम तो बरमपुर में छत्रपुर में घर है. और if you are, and we are already contact, I hope every researcher should contact the ResearchGate. So please have a ResearchGate account. And if you require any help, if you write down, I want a paper, the Scopus paper on this area, within 1 hour you will get that paper from the various sources. So, and if you know someone who is from, for example, from IIIT, you are having an institute, we are having all the resources. You just ask us, we'll give the paper also, and I can also give the ID also for 5 days or 3 days for your personal use. Okay, so don't listen. अगर आपको दिमाग में रहेगा कि मुझे काम करना है, तो these limitation can be wiped out easily. अगर हम छत्रपुर रह के इतना काम कर सकते हैं, तो now you are in Bhubaneswar, you can do wonder. And now sir will लिख रहे हैं SCI-hub.dy, that is your right approach. You go to the Scopus, select the DY number, paste this SCI hub, you will get the paper. But now this is some problem. Many papers are not downloaded from these things. But yes, 75% you can download it, because just say the DY number, paste the DY number in SCI hub, you will get the paper. So thank you, sir. Udgata sir, thank you. And please share your research ID, get ID. Lopamudra Punda बोल रहे हैं, research get ID, मेरा जब PPT में भी आप research get ID मिल जाएगा. और do not require, please write down Manoj Kumar's research ID, you get the ID also. आजकल सारा, listen, you cannot hide yourself in digital environment. If you write something, that will be visible in your digital environment. So today's scenario, all researchers are valuable or measurable and searchable, and also you can be interact also through the internet. So today, your research, you cannot say that मैं काम कर रहा हूँ, इसमें छुपा जाओगे. You cannot hide your research at this moment. If you have write some paper, even you publish or presented any conferences, within 1 month you will see that your name is there in internet. So please, another thing that is called ethics. If you write something, 99% chances that your paper should be online, and if it is plagiarized, then you will be penalized. So if you want to spend good time to write a paper, because now I already said that 100% of war will be now online. It will publish on conferences or paper. So please do some ethics, that will be everybody is watching you. That is my things. Yes, sir. VenQSS Voice Viewer Jamobi. It is a free open source software. Please write down Google Voice Viewer. You can download it there only. It will not take any single amount. It is open source software, Voice Viewer and Jamobi. And Jamobi is a very easy software. If you do not know SPSS also, Jamobi will be answer your. Tomorrow I will go in Jamobi for catalyst also. तो आपको यहाँ पर क्या मिलेगा? आपको आउटपुट मिलेगा, जितना चाहिए उतना आउटपुट मिल जाएगा. डोंट मैक्सिमम 2-3 टेब जैसे हम पेपर में जरूरी है उतना मिलेगा और इंटरप्रिटेशन भी मिल जाएगा. Puja Singh sir, if you want to reach you for any help, what to do the procedure, please let us know. We are here. I'm already 24/7 Facebook. सर जानते हैं साहू सर हमें दोनों फेसबुक में लाइव रहते हैं. तो कोई प्रॉब्लम होता है डायरेक्टली चैट करिए. I will be there. I have YouTube channel also. Just search it. Okay, any question regarding in my topic? Any questions? सर उद्गता सर 2 पॉइंट बोला अच्छा लगा था. Believe in yourself and bit of luck. That is required for research, I think, because and another thing he said nicely, the fog. अगर आप कुछ जा रहे हो 10-100 मीटर देखा जाएगा, बाकी नहीं देखा जाएगा. It's true, because if you claim that I did review completely, again there is a problem. You cannot say that I'm 100% did review. Review always be partial. It should if you completed 100 paper, it means you can only 0.001% of review, because a lot of papers are already available in the area. So, any other questions beside this? Thank you, sir. So tomorrow will be 10:30 for factor and HCF and SCM. Multivariate through SPSS. I request to all of you, please download SPSS and MOS. I've already set 2 files. So tomorrow I'll do some experiments. Okay? So sir, recording तो कर रहे हैं, आपको recording तो मिल जाएगा, but please download it. So those who are थोड़ा बहुत आता है वो कर लेंगे. अब मैं चाहता हूँ सब लोग कर सकते हैं. मैं कल ऐसे पढ़ाऊंगा. Don't worry.
Thank you, sir.
Shatarupa.
Thank you, sir. Yes, sir.
Just you request all the files. So regarding tomorrow's program, just you make an announcement to the participants.
Yes, sir. Sir, here we would like to make a short announcement. Dr. Manoj Kumar Das, sir, would be with us tomorrow, as he said, from 10:30 onwards. And we will again be able to listen, and we will be able to depict more visually presenting and visually appealing demonstrations. So I request all of you, all the participants who were today, to be present in tomorrow's visual presentation meeting, so that we can learn about the intricacies in a detailed manner of SPSS and the multivariate analysis. Well, thank you. My heartiest thank you to all the participants and all the partakers, especially the resource persons, all the faculties. We really had a very engaging and enriching session. And both the resource persons have enlightened us on the different aspects in their different unique ways. So here I would like to quote a quote. Ya pathati likhati pashyati paripruchhati panditan upashrayati tasya divakara kirane nalini dalam eva vistarita buddhi. That means one who reads, writes, sees, inquires, and lives in the company of the learned. His intellect expands as the lotus expands under the rays of the sun. So we wish and we hope, and we definitely will bloom and flourish under the blessing hands of all the enriching and intelligent faculties and all the resource persons who were present with us and all the eminent personalities who were present with us. Thank you so much. Signing off. Another request, please be tomorrow present at 10:30 so we can continue the session. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.